Chapter 801. Those people were wrapped in black clothes, only revealing their eyes. Please search, to see the most complete. Every one of them had a ruthless look in their eyes, and their bodies exuded a gloomy aura. It seems like the plan this time has failed. The leader had a long scar at the corner of his eye. Although only a little could be seen, it still made people feel ferocious. I didn't expect those people to be able to escape from that place, someone said from behind. Those people are from the Sky Heaven School. I'm afraid we can't stay here any longer. I didn't complete the mission Master gave me. I'm afraid that this time when I return, speaking of this, these people exuded a strong sense of fear and anger. Let's go down and take a look first. Since we can't protect this place, we have to at least protect those things. We can only bring them back to other places to raise them. They went to the underground tomb, but after entering, they did not see what they wanted to see. Where's the chi spirit? Everyone was shocked. The leader took out a whistle and blew it twice, but there was still no movement. The chi spirits are gone. Could they have been killed by those people just now? How is that possible? With so many chi spirits, there weren't many thunder spirit masters among them. Being able to come up from below is already a very rare thing. How could he possibly kill all of the chi spirits? Someone immediately retorted. Indeed, there is none left. The leader squeezed the whistle. If it wasn't a spirit weapon, it would have been crushed by him. So many chi spirits, are they really all killed? How is that possible? There's the smell of deviant flame here. Deviant flames. Deviant flames and lightning are the natural enemies of chi spirits. No wonder, when we go back this time. Someone's face instantly turned pale, and his entire body froze on the spot. Buzz buzz buzz, at this moment, a faint sound came from inside. Then, the sound became louder and louder. It was not far from the cave entrance. What's that sound? F***CK, it's a phantom bug. Let's go. The group hurriedly formed a protective layer and flew up. However, one person did not move from his spot. What are you still doing there? Hurry up and leave. Do you want to be killed by the phantom bug? Who would have thought that the man would take off his veil and smile at them, saying, "You may go." I'm not leaving. What are you doing? If we fail this mission, we will definitely be thrown there when we return. Rather than risking his life in that place, he might as well end his life here. Anyway, if you get bitten by the phantom bug, you won't feel any pain when you die. After the man finished speaking, he turned around and ran into the tomb. Let's go. A trace of hesitation flashed in the eyes of the leader, but he still made a decision in an instant and left with the rest of the people. Although it wouldn't be painful to die like this, they were still willing to gamble on the small chance of survival. What do we do now? Are you going back to report? After leaving the swamp, they were all in low spirits. Ruthlessness flashed through the leader's eyes as he said, "If we go back now, we'll die. Let's go to the next place. This time, we have to change the method." When Sima Yue and the rest returned to Jialing City, they first found an inn to stay in. Once they arrived at the inn, Fan Lei called Shui Rong, Su Yuanyuan, Kang Junchul, and Sima Yue over. Originally, he called Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiao over, but one of them was busy looking for food while the other was busy bathing, so they didn't have time. "We're already back, but you're still not letting us sleep, Principal, this isn't right." Kang Junchul leaned lazily on Sima Yue. Fan Lei looked at him and shook his head helplessly, but didn't say anything. "What did Principal call us over for?" Sima Yue asked. "Actually, it's nothing much, I just asked you to come over and listen." Fan Lei said, "Shui Rong, although that tomb isn't particularly hard to find, it's not that easy to find it underground. How did you know about this tomb and send people down?" His voice carried a stern questioning tone, which shocked Shui Rong and Su Yuanyuan. "We heard it from others." Shui Rong said. "Heard it from others? It's such a secretive thing, how did you hear it from others?" De Wei asked. That day, we were carrying out a mission in the mountains. When we passed by a resting area, we heard two people talking about a tomb in the violet water swamp. They said that there were some strange movements recently and that there might be some great opportunity, so everyone said that they should go and take a look. Shui Rong said. If there really was an opportunity, why would they say it so carelessly and let you hear it? Sima Yue said. We thought so too at that time, but they insisted on taking a look. In the end, those who believed went down, while those who didn't believe waited for them up there. But in the end, only Yuan came up. Shui Rong said, Yuan came up and said that they were all dead and unconscious. Then we went back to the academy. Sima Yue thought for a while and said, Xiang Yi said that Jing Wen and the others were doing something nearby and came over when they heard that there were movements here. It's all hearsay, then this hearsay is a bit coincidental. Kang Junshul, who was half asleep, suddenly said. Someone must have purposely leaked the news. De Wei said. Purposely leak the news to let those people go in and then provide spiritual energy to those qi spirits to make them stronger? Shui Rong guessed. It should be. Fan Lei said. It's not, it should be, it's true that someone is manipulating this. Sima Yue said. How can you be so sure? Little Wei asked. Before I left some bees behind. They sent back news that someone came out of the swamp the moment we left. Listening to them, I'm sure that they were the ones who leaked the news. Sima Yue said, but those people were very vague, and didn't directly say anything useful. At that time, we didn't even notice that there were people in the swamp. These people's abilities can't be underestimated. Fan Lei said solemnly. They went down for a while, and when they came up, they said that they wanted to go to other places to continue. I think, maybe there are many places like this. Sima Yue added. They just gave up on that place? They had no choice but to give up. There are no more qi spirits down there. Their efforts were wasted. Sima Yue said. What about those qi spirits? Before we came up, the senior brothers left some deviant flames. They should have been burned up. Sima Yue said. Kang Junshul narrowed his eyes and looked at her, but didn't say anything. He should find a time to ask her about the deviant flames that she released. You guys are more thorough. Leaving some deviant flames to destroy the qi spirits. We don't know what kind of power is behind this, and where are they going next? Fan Lei said worriedly. Chapter 802. Didn't you send the scarlet bees there? Did they not hear what they were going to do next? Little Wei asked. Copy URL access. At that time, they only said that they were going to the next place, but they didn't say where. Sima Yue said, at that time, I ordered the bees to follow them, but their alertness was very high and they discovered the bees. In the end, all the bees were killed by them, and the information I received was cut off. If they can hide under the swamp without being discovered by us, it wouldn't be difficult for them to discover your scarlet bees. Fan Lei said, it's just that this way, we'll lose track of them. Then things won't be easy after that. Big Wei said, although these qi spirits can't leave the tomb, since those people have the intention to do so, they will naturally have a way to get them out. Right now, we can only go back and have the Academy's forces investigate. See if there are any strange movements or if something similar has happened. Fan Lei said. I think, now that they've failed this time, they'll speed up their next step, Little Wei said. There's no time to lose. Let's go back now. Fan Lei said. Director, can I go back by myself later? Sima Yue said, I have something to tell my friends. Fan Lei glanced at Kang Junshul. Seeing that he did not object, he said, since you want to stay, then stay. However, he could not delay the 3 great meetings. I know you have other events to take part in after leaving the billboard. Director, don't worry. I won't delay the competition. Sima Yue said with a smile. Then let's go back first. All right. When Han Miao Shuang came back from looking for food and Su Xiao Xiao finished bathing, he realized that everyone from the academy had left, leaving only Sima Yue and Kang Junchul. Where are the dean and teacher? Su Xiaoxiao dried her hair with spiritual power and asked. Let's go back. Sima Yue said. Then why didn't you call us? Because we are not going back. Sima Yue said with a smile. We're not going back. Then what should we do? Su Xiaoxiao looked at her in confusion. Let's rest for a day and then go to the mausoleum to take a look. You're going back? Of course we have to go back. Sima Yue said, it's an ancient tomb. Don't you want to know what it looks like inside? No matter what it looks like, it's been so long. I don't think there's anything good left. Su Xiaoxiao wasn't interested in the things inside. Han Miaoshuang's eyes lit up as she held her hand and said, you really want to go back? I was thinking that there must be something good in there. How could I not go back? I didn't expect junior brother to have the same thoughts as me. Sima Yue looked at Kang Junchul, who had fallen asleep on the bed, and said, I'm not the only one who thinks the same way, right? If he didn't think so, he wouldn't have remained silent when she said that she wanted to stay. All right then. Since you all want to go, let's go, Su Xiao said. But if we go like this, is it really okay? Our powers aren't very high. The three of you have deviant flames. You can walk sideways in there without a problem. Sima Yue said. What sideways? You're the crab. Han Miaoshuang elbowed her. Aya, since we're going tomorrow, I have to rest well today. You have to call me when you're leaving tomorrow. After she finished speaking, she ran out. I'm going to tidy up my house and then rest. Su Xiaowan also left. Sima Yue turned around and looked at Kang Junchul, who was lying on the bed. She knew that she couldn't wake him up now. She shook her head and went out. She didn't go to Kang Junchul's room. Instead, she went to look for Shimin Feng and Kong Sangyi. But she didn't find them in their rooms. Young Master Sima, are you looking for young Miss and the others? A disciple from the Kong Valley passed by and saw her knocking on the door. He said, young Miss and Shimin Feng went to young Master Jing's room. They might not be back yet. Oh, thank you. Sima Yue smiled at that person and went downstairs to Jing Wen's room. As expected, she found Shimin Feng there. At this moment, Kong Sangyi, Shimin Feng, and the two brothers Jing Wen were talking about what happened that day. When they heard Sima Yue knocking on the door, Shimin Feng went to open the door. You're really here. Sima Yue went in and saw that Jing Wen's face was still pale. She said, how's your injury? It's already much better. Jing Wen nodded at her. Why are you here? There's something I need to tell Feng. I also came to ask you something. Sima Yue said. What's the problem? Ask away. I want to know, how did you know about the tomb in the Violet Water Swamp? Sima Yue asked. There must be more than one tomb in the Violet Water Swamp. Why did you choose the one with the Qi spirit? We heard it from others. Jing Wen said, Jing Huan and I came here to settle some matters. Once in a while, we heard two people talking about it. We thought that if it was true, then it would be a great opportunity. So we went to verify it. At that time, we thought that even if there was any danger, we should be able to handle it. But we didn't expect it to be that kind of thing. Can you remember who told you this? Jing Wen shook his head, saying, we were just talking about this. The two people who were talking were wearing ordinary clothes and looked very ordinary. But no matter how hard we tried, we couldn't remember what they looked like. You can't remember a single person? Sima Yue asked, a little surprised. Not a single person. Jing Wen said with certainty. In that case, the person who told you this must have used some kind of martial arts to make everyone subconsciously ignore their appearance. Sima Yue said, it was to spread the news without causing any trouble for them. We guessed that too. Kong Sangyi said, why, did the people from your school come here after hearing the news? Yes. Just like what you said, they couldn't remember what those people looked like. Sima Yue said. So someone really thought that they were controlling us? Jing Huan said in shock. Yes, after we left, someone came out of the swamp. Sima Yue said. What? The four of them were shocked when they heard the news. Sima Yue told them what the scarlet bees had seen. It seems that the person controlling us has a plan for the next step. We have to do something. Jing Huan said. The dean and the others have already left. He said that he would take action when he got back. I think there shouldn't be any problems. But I'm worried that the school will waste their efforts. Chapter 803. A waste of effort? Why? Jing Huan asked in surprise. Those people spent so many years to create a place to cultivate chi spirits. Now that we've destroyed it, I'm afraid they'll be more careful in the future. That's true. Kong Sangyi said, but the power of the Sky Heaven School is not to be underestimated. I also believe that the school will investigate. Once those things are released, they will definitely harm the people of the continent. On this point, the school is more upright. They won't just watch this happen. Sima Yue said. You said you were looking for me. What's the matter? Shimin Feng saw that Sima Yue was almost done asking and asked. Sima Yue glanced at the others. Kong Sangyi said, if it's not convenient for us to listen, you can go back to the house and talk. It's nothing. Sima Yue said, I just came to tell you that I plan to go back to the tomb. You want to go back to the tomb? It's so dangerous there. Before Shimin Feng could speak, Jing Huan spoke first. Jing Wen also looked at her disapprovingly. Everyone finally came out. Why do you want to go back? It's too dangerous there. Not to mention the arrays, just the chi spirits alone are hard to deal with. Although you have lightning attribute spiritual energy, it's not enough there. The chi spirits have already been dealt with. Sima Yue said. Dealt with? How? Senior brother and the others dealt with it. Sima Yue said. But even so, if you go, it's still very dangerous, right? Kong Sangyi said worriedly, Feng, don't you think so? Feng? Kong Sangyi looked at Shimin Feng in disbelief. She thought he would advise her, but she didn't expect him to go crazy with her. 900 spirit beasts won't be able to change her mind. Why don't I go with her? Shimin Feng said, at least if there's any danger, I can accompany her. Sima Yue rubbed her nose, don't talk to me like I'm a disobedient child. Aren't you? Shimin Feng asked. Of course not. Sima Yue retorted, that's a tomb from ancient times. There might be some treasures inside. Wouldn't it be a waste of such a good opportunity if we just leave like that? This kind of wasteful thing will be struck by lightning. That's why I know it's useless to persuade you. Shimin Feng knew his sister too well. When are you going? Tomorrow morning. All right. Kong Sangyi pulled Shimin Feng's sleeve and said, you guys really want to go? Then I want to go too. Why are you going? Shimin Feng subconsciously refused. If you want to go, I'll go too. Kong Sangyi said, anyway, I'll go wherever you go. It's too dangerous there. You know it's dangerous, but you still want to go. Kong Sangyi said, I don't care. If you want to go, I want to go too. If you think it's dangerous, then don't go. Sima Yue saw Kong Sangyi looking at her and patted her forehead, saying, I still have some things to discuss with my seniors. You guys can decide whether you want to go or not. I'll go back first. She didn't want to get involved in this couple's matters. Let them decide for themselves. But she felt that Kong Sangyi's clinginess wasn't something that her cute little brother could resist. So when Kong Sangyi appeared in their group on the second day, she wasn't surprised at all. After that, the 6 of them returned to the violet water swamp. Sima Yue found a scarlet bee's corpse on a plant in the swamp. This is the scarlet bee you left behind 2 days ago. Han Miao Shuang said. That's right. Sima Yue kept the scarlet bee's corpse into the spirit pagoda and said, let's go down. The others nodded. Everyone wrapped themselves in spirit energy and jumped into the swamp again. When they came out of the tomb again, the 6 of them felt different from the last time. This is the mirage bug's corpse, Sima Yuyue said as she picked up one of the black corpses on the ground. The mirage bug was transparent when it was alive. I didn't expect it to turn pure black after it died. The difference is quite big, Han Miao Shuang said. We didn't chase after the mirage bug that day, Kong Sangyi said. These were left behind by the people who came after us. It's a pity that they didn't leave any useful information, Su Xiao said regretfully. If they could find some useful information, they might be able to guess who came after them. Not necessarily. Sima Yuyue smirked and threw away the mirage bug in her hand. If you get it, can you find any useful information from it? There's no useful information here, but there will be soon, she said as she walked inside. After a while, she saw a man in black lying on the ground. This person was lying on the ground with a faint smile on his face, as if he saw someone in his dreams. This person came after us? Looking at his clothes, he should be. If he's not one of them, why would he be dressed like this? Han Miao Shuang said. It's the same as when Scu Yuan was poisoned. Luckily, no other spirit beasts came out after the mirage bug. So although this person is in danger, it's not like he can't be saved, Sima Yuyue said. Then let's try. Who knows, we might be able to get some information after we treat him, Su Xiao said. Sima Yuyue shook her head and said, saving people is a waste of energy. We just need to get the information we want. How will we know if we don't save him? Kong Sangyi asked. Do you know about the soul-absorbing technique? Sima Yuyue teased her when she saw her expression. Soul-absorbing technique? What's that? Why haven't I heard of it before? Kong Sangyi believed her. It's a spirit technique that can absorb a person's soul. Sima Yuyue said, I'll suck his soul out in a while and absorb it. Then I'll know what happened to him. Kong Sangyi looked at Sima Yuyue in shock. How did you learn such a disgusting technique? Absorbing a person's soul was too disgusting. Sima Yuyue pulled a long face and said, how is it disgusting? You'll know if it's disgusting or not when you see it later. Kong Sangyi shook her head. No, I don't want to see it. Pfft, Sima Yuyue looked at her and couldn't help but laugh. You'll believe whatever she says. There's no such thing as a soul-absorbing technique. Shimin Feng rubbed Kong Sangyi's head and said affectionately. There's no soul-absorbing technique? Then what's she going to do? Kong Sangyi asked blankly. Sima Yuyue smiled but didn't say anything. She squatted on the ground and placed one hand on the person's forehead and closed her eyes. Kong Sangyi looked at Sima Yuyue in confusion. Although she didn't know what she was doing, she knew that she shouldn't be disturbed and suppressed her questions. Tip: press the Enter key to return to the list of books. Press key to return to the previous page. Press key to return to the next page. Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor, please remember our address. Download Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor, please go to Chapter 804. After a while of silence, Sima Yuyue finished reading that person's memories. Her body emitted a strong sense of anger. People like you deserve to die. She punched the man in the chest, and a raging flame spread from her hand, burning the man to ashes. Then she waved her hand, and little birdie returned to her hand. Seeing her flames, Kang Junchol's pupils contracted. This flame, junior brother, what's wrong? It was the first time Han Miao Shuang saw Sima Yuyue like this, and she was a little scared. In this person's memories, other than the cruel training he received in an unknown place, everything else was about killing, killing, killing. For some reason that even he didn't know, they could massacre the entire city. And more than once. Sima Yuyue said. How despicable. Han Miao Shuang heard and was furious. Spirit masters like them wouldn't interfere with normal people's lives. These people who massacred a city for some reason were the most despicable. Then did you get any news about this? Shimin Feng asked. Sima Yue shook her head. Their organization's information management is very strict. This person is the lowest level assassin. He would only carry out a mission every time, and wouldn't ask why. He didn't get any news at all. Even when they were together, they didn't see each other's faces. The only useful thing was that his superior had a scar at the corner of his eye. Then you don't know what their next plan is? Su Xiao asked. I don't know. I thought that after finding this person, there would be some clues, but I didn't expect that there would be nothing. Kong Sengyi said, even the insiders don't know about this. It would be even harder for others to find out. I hope that the academy will find something. Sima Yue calmed herself down, telling herself not to be so angry, or else it wouldn't be good to encounter danger with this kind of emotion. Let's go in. Han Miaoshuang saw that she had calmed down and said. The few of them kept their emotions and walked in. This time, they didn't meet any chi spirits. Will there be any unknown creatures here? Kong Sengyi asked beside Shimin Feng. I don't think so. Shimin Feng said, this mausoleum has existed for too long, and there's also a barrier separating it. It's already very rare for chi spirits to appear. Perhaps there was something protecting it in the past, but it wouldn't have survived until now. It's said that ancient creatures are more powerful than the ones we have now. This kind of mausoleum is safer than the ones we have now. Thinking about it, they had been in here for so long, and there were no chi spirits to attack them this time. It was indeed safer than ordinary tombs. Buzz buzz buzz, the sound of fluttering wings came from the front. Judging from the sound, there should be a large wave of animals attacking. The sound was getting closer and closer, but no one saw any spirit beasts appear. The phantom bug is here. Everyone, be careful, Kang Junshul reminded. The phantom bug was only the size of a fingernail and looked like a beetle. Its body was transparent, and even its organs could not be seen. There were only 2 black dots at the tip of its 2 antennae. Therefore, when a swarm of phantom bugs flew over, what everyone saw was a dense mass of black dots. After hearing the sound, everyone stopped moving forward and condensed their spirit energy to protect their bodies. When those transparent phantom bugs flew over, they attacked together. To deal with these spirit beasts that attacked in groups, everyone chose to use fire attribute spirit techniques. A spirit technique was released, and it swept across the area. Piles and piles of phantom bugs were burned, and the ground was densely covered with their corpses. These phantom bugs' carapaces are really hard. Normal flames can't burn them to ashes. Han Miaoshuang sighed as she looked at the corpses. You just have to deal with your phantom bugs. If you're not focused, you might get bitten. Su Xiao released a ball of flame to destroy all the phantom bugs that rushed towards her. Seeing her sigh, he couldn't help but say. Our Xiao is so good. How could I get bitten, right? Han Miaoshuang said while not forgetting to deal with the phantom bugs. The first wave of phantom bugs was destroyed before they could use their skills. The ones behind were smarter. They didn't rush over immediately, but attacked from afar. Unfortunately, distance was not a problem for spirit masters. Even if they were far away, they were still hit by the spirit energy and died in groups. Be careful of the yellow fog they release. Don't breathe it into your body. Sima Yue reminded Shimin Feng and Kong Sengyi. Kong Sengyi happened to be surrounded by a group of phantom bugs that broke through the encirclement. When he saw the yellow fog, he quickly held his breath and didn't breathe it in. Are you bullying me because I don't have fire attribute spirit energy? She took out a bell, inserted spirit energy and shook it lightly. The bell immediately let out a clear and loud sound. The sound waves rippled in all directions. When the phantom bugs heard the sound, they became dizzy and their fighting strength decreased. Han Miaoshuang saw the phantom bugs' reaction and couldn't help but praise, what a powerful sound attack. In order to save spirit energy, they changed to using deviant flames. Thousands of phantom bugs were burned to ashes. Shimin Feng also had fire attribute spirit energy, but his flames were weaker than Kang Junshul's. Therefore, many of the phantom worms attacked her. Kong Sangyi saw that there were more phantom bugs surrounding Shiman Feng and ran to his side. He shook his bell at the phantom bugs. With her help, Shiman Feng's pressure was reduced by a lot. It was easy to deal with them. How many phantom bugs are there? There are so many, why didn't they fill up the tomb? Han Miao Shuang was a little annoyed by the waves of phantom bugs and complained. Sima Yuyue also thought, why were there so many of these guys? She didn't think so before. Actually, what they didn't know was that in the past, the Qi spirit was suppressing the phantom bugs, so they didn't dare to run around. But now that the Qi spirit was gone, this place became their territory. They kept burning for half an hour until the air was filled with the pungent smell of the phantom bugs being burned. Then, they finally stopped. Han Miao Shuang kept the flame and said, after burning for so long, if we only rely on spirit energy, I'm afraid it will be exhausted. These phantom bugs are stupid. They obviously saw their companions die, but they still kept flying over. Kong Sangyi didn't understand the phantom bugs and couldn't understand their suicidal behavior. Humans don't know much about the phantom bugs. The descriptions in the books are just one-sided views of the people who met a few before. Sima Yuyue said, I think, their thinking should be simpler. They want to be with their companions. So when they saw their companions being burned to death, they continued to come over and didn't think of escaping. This is similar to other social creatures. Chapter 805. So many have been burned to death. I don't know if all of them have been burned. Su Xiaoxiao smelled the stench and frowned. It doesn't matter if this is all burned, I think the road ahead won't be peaceful. Sima Yuyue said, there are more insects in the tomb, I hope there won't be too many here. I don't think so. Those insects also need certain conditions to survive. It was rare that Kong Junshul was not sleepy. When his peach blossom eyes were fully open, they were not as charming as when he was sleepy, but they were still very good looking. There are many tombs in the Violet Water Swamp. Everyone has taken a fancy to the feng shui here. But the central position is the best. Sima Yuyue said, but because it was the best in the beginning, it's the worst now. In the mausoleum, there are many of those insects, but here, because of the presence of Qi spirits, it is not so easy for other creatures to reproduce. Kong Junshul said, these phantom insects are probably an exception. Senior brother, you sound so sure. Are you very familiar with this? Sima Yuyue turned to look at Kong Junshul. I don't know much about it, but I know a little about it, Kong Junshul said lightly. Sima Yuyue looked at him. Why did she feel that he seemed to be saying that he was very familiar with this and that he had gone through many ancient tombs? But would this guy know how to do it? It must be an illusion. Let's continue inside. Kong Junshul seemed to be very confident about the situation inside. With his hands clasped behind his back, he swaggered inside. When Sima Yuyue saw that he was not worried at all, she chose to believe him and followed him in. They kept walking and soon arrived at the place where they had met Jingwen and the others. Their journey was unimpeded and they did not encounter any danger. We haven't encountered anything after walking for so long. We should be able to confirm that the thing inside is gone. Su Xiao said. Even if there was something in the past, over the long years, it has been completely cleaned up by the Qi spirit. Han Miao Shuang said. If it's that good, then wouldn't we be taking advantage of it? Kong Sangyi said with a smile. I'm afraid there aren't many good things left in this place. Kong Junshul poured a bucket of cold water. Why? The existence of the Qi spirit can not only destroy the creatures here, but also absorb the spiritual energy here. Sima Yuyue explained to her, if there's anything with spiritual energy here, it should have been sucked dry. But we can't say that there's nothing. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to find something. Kong Sangyi looked at Sima Yuyue and asked in surprise, you already knew? I know. That's how I know there's no danger here. Sima Yuyue said, but it was just a guess. I didn't expect this place to be so clean. Since there's nothing good left, why are we still here? Picking up scraps. When Kong Sangyi saw that Kong Junshul and the others had the same expression, he was speechless. It turned out that he was the only one who didn't know. I also don't know. Shiman Feng indifferently said. Kong Sangyi smiled when he heard that. Regardless of whether he really didn't know, she was very happy that he could say that. Let's go. Let's take a look at the situation inside. Sima Yuyue said. They were still at the periphery of the mausoleum. Normally, there wouldn't be anything good here. They still had to walk inside to be able to find something. When they passed by a stone room, Kong Sangyi pointed at a small oil lamp in the corner and said, "Why did we walk into this room so many times?" This small oil lamp, the rooms that we passed by recently all had the same one. Everyone stopped. Han Miaoshuang walked over and picked up the small oil lamp. She threw it to another position and took out a jade bottle and placed it at the side. Let's walk again. They walked again and exited from one of the exits. After passing through a tunnel that was tens of meters long, they entered the next stone room. In the stone room, the small oil lamp and the jade bottle were placed in the same position. Seems like we've entered an illusion array. Sima Yuyue said. Although it seems like we're moving forward, we've actually been walking in circles in this room. When did we enter the illusion array? Why didn't we feel anything? Su Xiao wasn't familiar with arrays. This array is more powerful than the current illusion array. Sima Yuyue said, I have to study it carefully. It was not an ordinary illusion array that could make her not feel anything. If he wanted to break this formation, it would take some time. She didn't know if it was because they trusted her from the bottom of their hearts. Even if they were trapped here, they didn't panic at all. Those who were dozing off continued to doze off, those who were eating continued to eat, those who were chatting continued to chat. Nobody asked her if they could get out. Sima Yuyue searched the room for a long time but couldn't find any traces of the array. She couldn't even find the array, let alone break it. Little junior brother, you've been thinking for half a day. Do you want something to fill your stomach? Han Miaoshuang looked at Sima Yuyue's frown and asked. Sima Yuyue looked up at her and shook her head, you should eat it yourself. After speaking, she lowered her head and started calculating. Han Miaoshuang walked over with food and squatted beside her, saying, Little junior brother, it's been half a day. Do you have any idea? I have some idea, but I'm still looking for the array core. Sima Yuyue said, as long as we find the array core and destroy it, we can break this illusion array. What's the array core? Han Miaoshuang asked. Sima Yuyue pointed at the furnishings in the room, it's these few things. There was a small oil lamp, a rusty iron sword, a dusty plate, a wine pot, a few scattered wine cups, and some small stones. Then let's just destroy them. It'll save us the trouble. That won't do. Sima Yuyue quickly stopped her, this illusion array is different from other arrays. There's only one array core, but there are many fake array cores. If we destroy the other fake array cores, we might fall into a deeper layer of the illusory realm. It'll be harder to get out. That's why we have to find the right array core to break this illusion array. Han Miaoshuang pursed her lips and said, so troublesome. It's indeed troublesome. Sima Yuyue rubbed her forehead and looked at the things in the stone room again. This stone room was empty. Other than those few things, there was nothing else. Those small stones could be eliminated. But that small oil lamp, iron sword, plate, wine flask and wine cup, which one was the real array core? She took all these things in front of her. Looking at them, touching them, she couldn't be sure. I think this person must be someone who knows how to enjoy life. Kang Junshul woke up and said. Sima Yuyue heard him and her eyes lit up. Chapter 806. She held the small oil lamp in one hand and the rusty iron sword in the other. These are the two array cores? Han Miaoshuang asked. Sima Yuyue nodded her head and said, eldest senior brother is right. This person is a person who loves to live. He loves to eat and drink. That's why the wine cups and dishes are arranged so neatly. As for the oil lamp and the iron sword, they were much more casual. But what? Kong Sangyi also came over. Most people wouldn't use something they like as the core of a formation. However, I'm afraid this person will do the opposite. After Sima Yuyue finished speaking, she put down the small oil lamp and the iron sword. She picked up the flagon and slammed it on the stone table. The layout of the stone room immediately changed. The wine jug in the stone room was still there, as if the scene of her breaking it had never happened. The eye of the array is a wine pot? How could it be a wine jug? Yuyue, how did you think of it? Han Miaoshuang grabbed the wine jug and looked at it. It was exactly the same as the one that Yuyue smashed. I guessed. Sima Yuyue said, all right, since the array has been broken, let's continue our journey. I told you, with you around, this won't be a problem. Han Miaoshuang said confidently. You really believe me? I believe it more than myself. Sima Yuyue smiled. If Wu Lingyu hadn't given her that array formation book, how could she have understood such a comprehensive array formation? Speaking of which, she hadn't seen him for a long time. That time when she entered the primal chaos world, he rushed back to see her. At that time, she found that he was in a hurry. In the past, when she was injured or emotionally unstable, he could sense it and would rush over to find her. But recently, when something happened to her, he did not appear, nor did he respond. Based on her understanding of him, he wouldn't disappear for no reason. Even if it wasn't for himself, he would still come to take a look at the contract. Therefore, she was a little worried that something had happened to him. That old fart from the Sage Pavilion had always coveted his body. Could it be that he had already been possessed by that old fart? Every time, he was the one who helped him. It seemed that after he went out, it was time for him to inquire about his situation. They continued to walk forward and passed by a few more stone rooms. However, they didn't find anything. After passing through the last stone chamber, they arrived at an underground cliff. The cliff was about 10 meters wide and bottomless. The sound of flowing water could be heard from below. It should be an underground river. There was an iron bridge on the cliff, and on the other side of the bridge was a gate. He didn't know what material the door was made of, but after so many years, it hadn't been eroded by the wind. The central tomb is just up ahead. Kang Junchul stood on the cliff with his hands behind his back as he looked ahead thoughtfully. Kang Junchul, have you robbed a lot of tombs? He actually knew so much about mausoleums. Could it be that your Jiang family changed their profession to tomb robbing? Han Miaoshuang walked to his side and teased. Kang Junchul glanced at her and said, have you heard of an ancient great emperor who used his own strength to chase away foreign invaders? You're talking about the Azure Great Emperor? Han Miaoshuang was surprised that he mentioned that person. However, she still told him what she knew. Rumor has it that the Azure Great Emperor was the last great emperor of the ancient era. His achievements were much higher than the previous great emperors. Although there were other great emperors after him, no one could compare to him. The Azure Great Emperor's life is a mystery. Only a few things have been passed down to the world. However, even with these few things, the future generations can only look up to him. Kang Junchul spoke about this ancient great emperor with respect and admiration in his eyes. Sima Yuyue heard their conversation and walked over. This was the second great emperor's name she heard after returning to the primordial lands. Emperor Qingdao, whom he had heard of at the auction, was one of them. This Azure Sea Emperor was another. Why did you suddenly mention the Azure Great Emperor? Han Miaoshuang asked. Do you know? The outer region wasn't like this in the past. It used to be the most suitable place for cultivation. There were many ancient cultures and prosperity that we couldn't imagine. Kang Junchul said, many people used to live here. The outer region was so prosperous? Sima Yuyue asked curiously. The ancient books in the Spirit Pagoda didn't mention this. This was the first time she heard about it. That was a long time ago. Kang Junchul said, because it was too long ago, not many people know about it now. How did senior brother know? I've seen it in an ancient book. Kang Junchul said. Kang Junchul, do you know something? Han Miao Shuang narrowed her eyes at him. In that ancient book, I saw it mention something. Kang Junchul said. What is it? That Azure Great Emperor once had a beloved woman. He was very sad after she died and buried her in a place with good feng shui. That place, from afar, looked like a fire dragon spitting out pearls. Kang Junchul said faintly. It can't be. You're saying that this is the tomb that the great emperor built for his beloved woman? Su Xiao cried out. Damn, is that true? Han Miao Shuang couldn't help but curse. This news was too shocking. Everyone was shocked to the point that they didn't want to. There's something even more shocking. Kang Junchul said, that book said that although the Azure Great Emperor didn't cultivate, he was very powerful. For that woman, he left behind a trace of his divine sense to accompany her. It's been a long time since a great emperor appeared. If you can really get some pointers from a great emperor, you'll definitely benefit a lot. Kong Sengyi said, maybe the next great emperor will be us. Sima Yuyue wasn't very interested in the Azure Great Emperor's divine sense. After so many years, it wasn't an exaggeration to say that the sea had turned into mulberry fields. Even if that trace of divine sense was here before, it wouldn't be anymore. She was more interested in the things that were left behind. But then she thought that there were so many chi spirits here. Even if there was something good, it would have become waste now. Sigh, thinking about this, she couldn't help but sigh. Her sigh poured cold water on the excited crowd. They also thought that even if there was something good, it wouldn't be left behind until now. But even if there isn't anything good, this tomb left behind by the Azure Great Emperor is worth a good look. Han Miao Shuang was more optimistic. She was still smiling and wasn't too disappointed. Then let's continue forward. Kong Sengyi said. Okay. They wanted to fly over the cliff, but found that they couldn't fly here. They could only go over the small bridge. It's such a long bridge. I don't know if it can withstand people. Han Miao Shuang said. We'll know once we try. Kang Junchul wasn't worried at all. He walked over with large strides and finally reached safely. Seeing that he was fine, Han Miao Shuang and the others also walked over. Yu Yu was at the back. She waited for them to reach before stepping on the small bridge. But before she reached the center of the bridge that was still intact suddenly broke. She fell down the cliff with the bridge. Chapter 807. Yuyue. Junior brother. Seeing her fall, everyone panicked. Shimen Feng almost jumped down, but fortunately, Kong Sengyi pulled him back. If you can't fly, it's the same if you go down. Let's see if the flying beast can fly first. I'm fine. Sima Yoyue's voice could be heard from below. Only then did everyone feel relieved. Pooh, Piyu, the sound of flapping wings could be heard. It seemed that flying was not allowed here, but the birds could still fly. Sima Yuyue sat on Chongming's back and slowly came up from the abyss. Then, she landed on the opposite side of the cliff. Yuyue, are you alright? Kong Sengyi asked. I'm fine. I called out Chongming before we reached the bottom. Sima Yuyue said. It's good that you're fine. That really scared me to death. Han Miao Shuang said, it's a good thing that spirit beasts are allowed to fly here. Otherwise, you would have fallen into the dark river. Nothing happened to me when I walked up there. Junior brother, how did you break it with your small body? Su Xiao asked in confusion. I don't know either. Sima Yu looked at the end of the bridge that had already fallen, saying, this bridge has already fallen. It's probably because you guys just happened to reach its load. I was overweight the moment I went up, so it broke. Is that really the case? Everyone had doubts in their hearts, but they couldn't get an answer. He had no choice but to give up. Let's move on, Kang Junchul said to everyone when he saw that Sima Yuyue was fine. Everyone's attention returned to the door behind them. This door looks very ordinary. I wonder if it will be as easy to open as other ordinary doors. I'll try, Su Xiao said. Xiao Xiao, don't think that you're strong just because you're tall. Han Miao Shuang said, save your strength for later treasure hunting. I'm stronger than you. Su Xiao Xiao retorted after being mocked by Han Miao Shuang. I know you're older than me. Han Miao Shuang didn't deny this point, but didn't I know myself and didn't think of opening the door? Su Xiao Xiao glared at her sadly and asked, what should we do now? According to my many years of experience in the continent. Han Miao Shuang touched her chin and said, there must be some treasure here. But no matter what, it was not as surprising as the other mausoleums. I think there should be a way to open this door. This door can be preserved for so long, its quality must be very good. Shimen Feng said, so now the best way is to find a way to enter. Xiang Yi, why don't you try? Sima Yue said, this shouldn't be too difficult for you, right? Kong Sengyi did not decline and said, I can only promise that I will try my best. It might not work. You guys have always been more knowledgeable about spiritual weapons. I think you're the best at this. Sima Yue said, go ahead. I believe in you. Kong Sengyi felt that her words were familiar. It seemed that they had said the same thing to her before and asked her to study arrays. She didn't think that she would return the same words to her. Although she was depressed, she still went to study the door. As a large force, Kong Valley was the best at refining weapons. This kind of door that had been passed down from ancient times was the most attractive to them. Sima Yue watched as Kong Sengyi touched the door here and there. Her concentrated look was quite charming. Han Miao Shuang came to her side and said, can she handle this? She should be able to. Sima Yue said, I see that Feng trusts her. There shouldn't be any problems. Let's wait and see. If she can't, I think we can go in. After speaking, she glanced at Kang Junchul. That guy leaned on Xiao Xiao and was about to fall asleep. After about half a day, everyone was about to fall asleep from waiting. Kong Sengyi's voice suddenly rang in everyone's ears. All right, I know how to open this door. Sima Yue was originally meditating. When she heard her, she opened her eyes. At the same time, everyone else opened their eyes. You found a way? Han Miao Shuang stood up from the ground and said excitedly. Yeah. Kong Xiang Yi was very excited. After everyone woke up, she asked Shimen Feng to help and infused spiritual energy into the four corners of the door. Then, she went to the middle and turned the mechanism on the door clockwise and counterclockwise a few times. The spiritual energy in the four corners flowed along the grooves on the door. The turntable in the middle also started to turn on its own, making kacha-kacha sounds. Everyone held their breaths and looked at the door. After the turntable in the middle turned 100 times, the door finally made a crisp sound, as if it was unlocked. All right. Kong Sengyi walked over again and asked Shimen Feng to help. The two of them each pushed one side of the door and slowly pushed it open. Sima Yue and the rest looked at the opening with caution. They were prepared to attack if anything rushed out. But in the end, there was nothing. Oh, the door was completely opened. They saw a huge stone room behind the door. There were many small stone rooms around. Every stone room was filled with things. Most of them were jewels and jades. There were also many spirit stones and crystals. But they had lost their luster and had become useless stones. Everyone looked at these things regretfully. If there were no spiritual energy to absorb all the spiritual energy here, they would have made a fortune. Any of the things in the room would be a huge fortune. What a pity, what a pity. Han Miao Shuang looked at those things and couldn't help but feel pity. Sima Yue sighed in her heart. If there weren't any spiritual energy, how good would it be? She originally thought that she could pick up some leftovers. But now she was sure that there was nothing left for her to pick up. They probably came here for nothing. Let's go to the inner tomb to take a look. Kang Junchul and Xiao Xiao walked one round. After confirming that there was nothing useful, they said to Yu Yu and the rest. Han Miao Shuang was uninterested. She waved her hand and said, "There are so many things here that are useless. What's the use of going to the inner tomb? Who knows what else is waiting for us in the inner tomb?" Kang Junshul looked at Sima Yuyue and asked, "Do you think so too? This tomb can be considered a dead tomb. There are no living creatures and no treasures. Even if we continue walking, we won't get any treasures," Sima Yuyue said with a shrug. She looked at Kang Junshul and saw that his usually lazy eyes were filled with an unfamiliar passion. She didn't know why, but she felt that this matter was a little strange. But she couldn't pinpoint exactly what was wrong. Chapter 808. Should we go in and take a look? Kong Sengyi looked at Sima Yuyue and said, "Since we're already here, I won't be satisfied if we don't take a look inside." "That's true." Han Miao Shuang said, "Even if there's nothing inside, it's fine to see what it looks like." "Little junior brother, why don't we go in?" Sima Yuyue frowned. Seeing that everyone wanted to go in, she suppressed her doubts and nodded. "Let's go in and take a look." "But there are so many rooms, how are we going to get in?" "Senior brother, do you know how to get in?" Su Xiaoxiao asked Kang Junshul. Since he had read the ancient book, he should know how to get in. Kang Junshul looked around the stone room. Every room was the same. There were many things inside, but there was no passageway that extended to the inside. It was as if this was the end of the mausoleum. There's no way out. But there's no coffin either. It said that the Azure Sea Great Emperor personally forged a crystal coffin, but I haven't seen it here either. Crystal coffin? How romantic. But it was probably absorbed by those Qi spirits. Han Miao Shuang said regretfully. That crystal coffin is not an ordinary item. It shouldn't have been destroyed by the Qi spirit. Kang Junshul said. Then we have to look for it properly. If we can see the people from ancient times, hee. Han Miao Shuang laughed. "Little junior brother, do you think the people from our time are better looking, or the people from that time are better looking?" "More or less. After a long period of time in the Great Void Immemorial Era, the ancient people should have finished evolving," Sima Yuyue said. "Pfft, humans still need to evolve. Don't you look like this?" Kong Sengyi burst into laughter. "Of course. Do you think people are like that from the start?" Sima Yuyue said. "What did that person look like before?" Han Miao Shuang asked curiously. "Chang. How would I know?" Sima Yuyue stopped talking. Was she going to tell them that the ancestors of mankind were apes? Do apes and humans have similar blood flowing through their veins? It would be strange if they believed him. However, the seemingly weak humans on Earth had discovered this long ago. "Let's talk about the current situation." Shimen Feng interrupted their discussion. In the past, he had heard Yuyue talk about human evolution. At that time, he thought it was unbelievable. They knew that if they wanted to talk about this issue, they would probably have to wait here for the rest of the day. Although Kang Junshul also wanted to listen to the theory of human evolution, now was not the right time. There should be a mechanism here, but it won't be easy to find it. He looked around again, but still did not find anything. There are so many things in these rooms. They might be blocking something. "Let's clean it up first," Sima Yuyue said. Every stone room was filled with things. Some of them were still in their original state, while others had already been reduced to powder, forming a thick layer on the ground. With a thought, Sima Yuyue kept everything into her spirit pagoda. Little Spirit was playing with Ling Long in the space when suddenly a large pile of dust fell down. If it wasn't for his quick reaction, he would have been buried in it. "Yu, what are you doing?" He jumped up and shouted at her. My mistake, my mistake," Sima Yuyue said apologetically in her heart. "What's wrong with you?" Little Spirit felt that something was wrong with her. She shouldn't have made such a low-level mistake. "I don't know either," Sima Yuyue said. "Ever since I entered this tomb, I have always felt weird. It seems like something is wrong, but it also feels weird. Why is it weird? Little Spirit sensed the outside and said, there's nothing weird. The space here is very normal. There really isn't anything. Could it be that I'm thinking too much? Sima Yuyue said uncertainly, forget it, I can't think of anything even if I think about it. Let me see how to find the inner tomb. Yuyue, what are you thinking about? Kong Sengyi saw that Sima Yuyue was in a daze and asked. I'm checking if there are any mechanisms in the room. Sima Yuyue said casually. Did you see anything? No. Sima Yuyue shook her head, if it's an array, I might be able to see something. But I'm an amateur when it comes to mechanisms. Everyone doesn't know much about mechanisms. It seems like we're stuck here this time. Han Miao Shuang said. Let me try. Chongming said. Okay. See if there's anything strange here. Sima Yuyue said. Chongming closed his eyes and started to sense. Han Miao Shuang went to Yoyue's side and said softly, isn't Chongming a spirit beast? He knows this. He doesn't know either. Then how can he? He doesn't know anything about divination, but he's a space-type spirit beast. He's more sensitive to space. If there's anything different, he can sense it. Sima Yuyue said. Space-type spirit beasts have this kind of ability? It was everyone's first time hearing about this. They were curious and looked at Chongming with curiosity. Chongming sensed for a while and opened his eyes. He pointed to a stone room on the right and said, there's a movement behind that. Everyone entered the stone room. Everything here was taken away, not even a stone was left. The entire space was clear at a glance. They carefully checked every inch of the wall, but they didn't find anything. Kang Junchol's eyes flashed with impatience. But it was fleeting and no one noticed. Hiss, Sima Yuyue suddenly gasped. Little junior brother, what happened to you? Sima Yuyue retracted her hand and said, when I touched the wall just now, I got pricked by something and bled on the wall. Look! Kong Sengyi shouted. He looked at the changes in the wall in shock. The originally empty wall slowly turned white, and then all kinds of colors appeared one after another. The blue sky, the green grass, and a small river seemed to be flowing slowly. In the river, 2 lotus leaves floated with the waves, and then a stem leaf slowly appeared. Finally, a 9-petaled lotus flower appeared. And that flower was actually black. The black flower and leaves emitted a cold and arrogant aura. The soft and straight lotus stem was like a young girl's graceful figure. This ink-colored 9-petaled lotus flower grew unbridledly in this world, blooming with its own tranquil splendor. Everyone was stunned by this black lotus flower. That cold and arrogant aura made everyone lose themselves in this small world. But before they could admire it, the black lotus flower split into 2. Then, the 2 halves of the black lotus flower quickly retreated to opposite ends of the wall. At the same time, a long crack appeared in the middle of the wall. The entire wall turned into a double door. Chapter 809. Book title, Chapter, The Real Mausoleum Author. Everyone looked at each other with shock written all over their faces. What kind of situation was this? The door appeared just like that? Yuyue, just now, it seems like, it happened after your blood dripped on it. Kong Sengyi stared at Sima Yuyue. Does your blood have any special function? What kind of strange functions can it have? Maybe the door needs blood to activate. Sima Yuyue denied. Since we have found the door, let's go in and take a look. She didn't want them to be entangled in this issue, because when she saw that black lotus, she felt a scorching sensation on her back, as if there was a flame burning. However, she subconsciously didn't want anyone to know about this. That's right. Han Miao Shuang said, we couldn't find the door before, but now that the door is open, let's go in and take a look. Su Xiao Xiao and Shimen Feng stepped forward and each of them pushed a door. However, the door that seemed to have been opened didn't budge at all. That's weird. Su Xiao said, could it be that we're not strong enough? Xiang Yi, let's give it a try too. Han Miao Shuang and Kong Sengyi went up and helped one person each. The four of them tried to push him, but it was useless. The four of them tried several times, but the final result was the same. They retreated and looked at the door speechlessly. That's strange. It's clearly not locked. Why couldn't it be opened? Could it be that this is the same as the door outside, with some kind of mechanism? Han Miao Shuang touched her chin. Why don't, Xiang Yi, you try and see if there's any mechanism here? All right. Kong Sengyi changed her approach and began to study the door to see if there was any mechanism. However, after studying for a long time, she still did not find anything special. I can't push it and there's no mechanism. Could it be that this isn't a real door? Su Xiao asked. You really can't push it open? Sima Yuyue said, is it because your bodies are weak? Let me try. She walked over and placed her hand on the door. The moment she touched the door, the scorching sensation on her back turned into a cooling sensation, as if it wasn't hot at all. Because she thought that the four of them didn't push it, she placed both her hands on the door. Before she exerted any force, the door creaked and opened a gap. A strong white light shone through the gap made her squint at her eyes subconsciously. In that instant, she seemed to see a beautiful woman standing in a white light. However, it was only a momentary trance. When her eyes adjusted to the white light, she opened her eyes again. She was no longer a woman. She pushed the door opened it. As for her, she was stunned when she saw the scenery behind the door. Yuyue, you are. You. Kong Xiang Yi jumped over. Seeing the scene in front of her, she was stunned. Is it? Could it be that there is a treasure inside? Han Miao Shuang walked over, followed by Shimen Feng and Jiang Junzhe. Although they weren't as exaggerated as Yuyue, they were still shocked. Behind the door was neither a stone room nor a cave. It was a world. There was a sky and a land. There were mountains and rivers. There were flowers and grass. There were even two small houses on the mountainside. Yu, a distant and ethereal call seemed to have passed through time and space. It floated to Yue's ears. The call was very soft and faint, but it made her heart tremble. Who was calling her? Was it calling her? She wanted to find the person who was calling her, but she realized that there was no one here. This is really too beautiful. Kong Sengyi came back to his senses. He held his hands in front of his chest and sighed. Han Miao Shuang and the others walked in unconsciously. They wanted to confirm if this was an illusion. This place is really beautiful. But this shouldn't be the real world. Kang Junchul said. That's right. We are obviously underground. It's impossible for us to be in such a beautiful place. Shimen Feng said. Then this should also be an illusion array. To be able to create such an illusion, this person is really powerful. Han Miao Shuang sighed. This isn't an illusion array either. Sima Yuyue said. Not an illusion array? Could it be the real world? Sima Yuyue took a deep breath and stepped in. Then, she stretched out her hand and said, Can you touch me? Han Miao Shuang stretched out her hand to grab her. She was only a step away from her, but she couldn't grab her. Her hand even brushed past Yue's palm. This is, two spaces. If I'm not wrong, this should be a small realm. Kang Junchul said, Azure Emperor placed a small realm here. This door is the door to this small realm. Then, this door is a part of the tomb. So powerful? Su Xiao was shocked. This real tomb is actually a small realm. No wonder there weren't many mechanisms and arrays before. It was all a cover. The real purpose is here. Sima Yuyue sighed. Seeing the small realm, she figured out some of the doubts in her heart. She felt that something was amiss. There were too few mechanisms in the tomb. It didn't seem like a normal tomb. Although there were fewer creatures in the tomb because of the Qi spirit, there were too few mechanisms. However, the doubts in her heart didn't completely disappear. There were still some lingering doubts in her heart. That woman's tomb should be here. Kang Junshul also stepped in and came to Yu Yu's side. Eldest senior brother is very sure that this is the tomb of Azure Emperor's beloved woman? Sima Yu Yue asked. I wasn't 100% sure at first. But when I saw the small realm, I was very sure. Why? Because that book said that Azure Emperor had a few small realms. One of the small realms was placed on that woman. To be able to use a small realm as a tomb and match the location in the legend, isn't this enough to confirm it? Kang Junshul said. Then what about the crystal coffin? Could it be in that house? Han Miao Shuang was more curious about that woman. She wanted to see if there was anything left behind. Let's go to that house and take a look. Kong Sangyi had the same idea as her. The two of them hit it off and flew towards the small house together. So impatient. We'll walk over slowly. Can that house run away? Kang Junshul said with a smile. Let's go too. After Shimin Feng and the others entered, the door closed by itself. Sima Yuyue turned back to look. The door had already disappeared. Only a vast expanse was left behind. How did we get in so easily? She muttered in her heart. Looking at everyone's expression, it seemed like they didn't think of this problem. They were probably stunned by the small realm, the tomb and Azure Emperor's surprise. No one thought of this problem. Ah, Han Miao Shuang and Kong Sangyi's screams suddenly came from the house. Gentlemen's Assembly Hall Reading Network. Chapter 8-10. When everyone heard the cries, their expressions changed and they hurriedly flew over. Xiang Yi. Senior sister. Han Miao Shuang. When they flew to the front of the house, they didn't hear any movement. Thinking that something had happened to them, they quickly rushed in. Xiang Yi, how are you? Are you okay? Shimin Feng rushed in first and saw Kong Sangyi and Han Miao Shuang standing together. Han Miao Shuang was holding a painting in her hand. Han Miao Shuang, since you're all fine, why are you shouting? Kang Junshul said with an ugly expression. No, look at this. It's too horrifying. Han Miao Shuang pointed at the portrait in Kong Sangyi's hand. What is this painting about? Why are you so shocked? This painting, Su Xiaoxiao walked over and exclaimed when she saw the painting. Is it really that scary? Kang Junshul and Shimin Feng also walked over. When they saw the painting, their faces were filled with disbelief. Kang Junshul even turned his head to look at Yuyue. Then, everyone turned to look at her. Sima Yuyue was shocked by them and said, Are they really that scary? Everyone nodded. Then I'd better not watch it. Sima Yuyue took 2 steps back. She did not want to be tortured. I think you should take a look, Kong Sangyi said. Didn't you guys say it was scary? But you'll regret it if you don't, Kong Sangyi said. Everyone nodded again. Sima Yuyue was confused by their behavior. In the end, she made up her mind and walked over. Then, she was also stunned. This was a very simple portrait of a woman. Her clothes were not drawn much, but her face was drawn to perfection. And that face was 90% similar to hers. It's a pity that the portrait is of a woman. If it was a man, he would look more like junior brother. Su Xiao said. Sima Yuyue walked over and Shimin Feng and the others stepped aside. Kong Sangyi passed the portrait to her and said, Take a look at it yourself. Could it be that little junior brother is an old monster who has lived for tens of millions of years? Han Miao Shuang teased with a smile. Why don't you show me how long you've lived? Sima Yu glared at her. She took the portrait from Kong Xiangyi's hands and studied it carefully. Indeed, he was somewhat similar to himself. Those eyes, those cheeks, that nose bridge, that little mouth, they were exactly the same as her. Why is there a faint fragrance here? She put the painting under her nose and sniffed, asking. There seems to be a faint fragrance. Kong Sangyi said, there wasn't any fragrance when we came in just now. Right, Miao Shuang? I didn't notice. Han Miao Shuang sniffed fiercely. There seems to be a fragrance, but there are flowers and trees everywhere outside. It shouldn't matter if there's a fragrance, right? Kong Sangyi nodded. That's right, don't think about the fragrance. Quickly tell us what you think of this. I don't have any opinion. Sima Yue shrugged. The world is so big, there's nothing strange about looking similar. But this is too similar. And your blood opened the door to this little realm. Could there be a connection between these two? Su Xiao asked. What connection could there be? It's just a coincidence. Alright, she's a girl, I'm a guy, don't put me together with her. She said with a serious expression. Her serious expression made everyone shut their mouths. Kong Sangyi and the others would have believed her if they didn't already know that she was a girl. The things here are well preserved. It should be the effect of the little realm. Let's see if there's anything else in other places. Kang Junchul said. It's just a little realm, there must be a lot of treasures. Han Miao Shuang said excitedly. But the little realm is so big, it won't be easy to find things here, right? Then let's split up and look. Su Xiao said. I agree too. Kong Sangyi said. No need. Sima Yue persuaded them. The previous owner of this little realm is no longer here, because it was refined, so when its owner died, it degenerated. The size of this place is probably what we see now. Then isn't there nothing? Han Miao Shuang said disappointedly. No, there's a crystal coffin here. Kang Junchul said. What's the use of a coffin, we can't take it out for ourselves. Pfft, Sima Yue laughed at her words, saying, although the little realm has become smaller, there should still be a lot of things. I'm just saying, there's no need to split up, let's just go outside and see what's there. That's true. Then let's go out and look. They went out and walked around, and found that there weren't many things here, but there were many precious herbs, and they were all very old. We've hit the jackpot, we've hit the jackpot. Han Miao Shuang muttered excitedly as she dug out the herbs. If Master knows about this place, he'll be very happy. Su Xiao was also very excited. Kang Junchul wasn't as excited as them, other than digging out some rare herbs, he spent most of his time looking around. Very quickly, they dug out all the herbs, which made Han Miao Shuang and the others sigh more than once. If the little realm hadn't shrunk, how many good things would there be? Let's go back to the house. Kang Junchul said, I think the crystal coffin should be in one of the houses. Let's go back, who knows, there might be some treasures left for us in the house. Kong Sangyi agreed. Those herbs weren't very useful to her, so she dug out less. Seeing that Kong Sangyi and the others got treasures, she wanted to get treasures too. So, the group went back to the house, and searched room by room. There's no crystal coffin, it doesn't seem to be here. Or, the crystal coffin is just a legend. After searching one round without any results, they started to doubt the whole thing. Impossible. The crystal coffin is definitely here. Kang Junchul said confidently. Sima Yue let Chongming sense it again, then said to everyone, there's another room behind here. There's another room? Sima Yue came to the side of the wall, touched it with both hands, then pressed hard on one of the pieces, and an underground tunnel appeared on the ground. Once the tunnel opened, a gust of cold air rushed out from the ground. Let's go down and take a look. Kang Junchul took the lead and jumped down, the others followed suit. The tunnel wasn't long, but the temperature was abnormally cold, causing everyone to shiver. They walked for a while and reached the end. When they arrived at the secret room, they saw the crystal coffin in the middle. Sure enough, it's really here. Kang Junchul stood beside the crystal coffin, looking excitedly at the thing he was looking for. Chapter 8:11. Seeing that Kang Junchul was so excited, everyone walked over. However, they did not see the woman's body inside, only a tungsten iron sword lying quietly in the crystal coffin. The hilt of the sword was engraved with strange patterns. It looked like a spirit beast was circling on top of it. The scales and claws looked like a giant dragon. The dragon's eyes were embedded with 2 dazzling rubies. The rubies emitted a faint light, making people feel that the sword was evil. The sword was not in the scabbard, but lying on the side. Its name was written on the sword. Heaven Splitter. Why is it a sword? What's more, it's a sword with evil aura. Han Miao Shuang looked at the sword in disgust. She was shocked by the evil aura emitted by the sword. Sima Yuyue walked over and exclaimed when she saw the name of the sword. Sky Splitter Devil Sword? At this time, Ling Long was restless in the spirit pagoda. She kept shouting that she wanted to come out, but she was locked inside and refused to come out. Yu, I want to go out, I want to fight it to the death. Ling Long was rolling all over the sky, constantly shouting. Ling Long, stop messing around. Little Spirit grabbed her and said, with your current strength, how could you possibly be a match for the Sky Splitter Devil Sword? If you go out now, you'll be split in half immediately. But it's just outside. I've been looking for it for so many years, but I never thought that it was actually hiding here. Ling Long shook off Little Spirit's hand and flew back and forth, protesting against Yue for locking her in here. Since you know it's here, are you still afraid that you won't have a chance in the future? Little Spirit said, you and it are mutually reinforcing and restraining each other. If you can't defeat it, then the person who will become a piece of scrap metal will be you. Do you think you are a match for it now? Do you want to become a pile of scrap metal? Exquisite calmed down and said unhappily, I know, but I just can't control the urge to go and get even with it. Alright, you haven't seen each other for thousands of years. It doesn't matter if you wait a little longer. Little Spirit comforted her. You, hurry up and cultivate. I can only become stronger if you become stronger. Ling Long shouted at Sima Yuyue. Junior brother, do you know this sword? Su Xiao asked. Sima Yuyue nodded and said, this is a demonic sword that once ruled over an area in ancient times. I don't know when he disappeared. Devil sword? Although it was indeed a little evil, it still looked alright. Why is it called the Devil Sword? Sima Yuyue looked at Kang Junshul and said, I think eldest senior brother should know better than me. The words he said when they came in were still ringing in her ears. He said, sure enough, it's here. At that time, she thought he was talking about the remains of that ancient woman, but she didn't expect him to be talking about this demonic sword. The Sky Splitter was known as the #1 sword in the world in ancient times. Its divine power was boundless. Even in the hands of an ordinary divine rank, it had the strength to fight against a monarch rank expert. If it was in the hands of an expert, its power would be boundless. Sky Splitter was the divine weapon that everyone was vying for at that time. In that era, only the divine weapon Ling Long could contend against it. Kang Junshul said. Why is such a divine weapon called the Devil Sword? Kong Sangyi didn't understand. Because the Sky Splitter needs to drink the blood of 10 people every day. Kang Junshul said, not only that, it will also demonize the owner's divine sense, turning him into a bloodthirsty killing machine. Hiss, it's that scary? Didn't anyone think of destroying it? Shiman Feng asked. In the beginning, no one thought that it would have such a demonic nature, so they didn't take it to heart. It was only 10 people a day, those who pursued strength didn't even take it to heart. Later on, when everyone realized that it had already become a demonic sword, it was already too late. It had already become an indestructible demonic sword, and no one could destroy it. Not even Emperor Tsunglan. If he could, then it wouldn't have lain here for thousands of years. Kang Junshul said, using a small realm to imprison it here forever, so that it would never see the light of day, never see people, and use thousands of years to destroy its demonic nature. It's a pity that after so long, it still hasn't been completely destroyed. Then wouldn't this sword never be destroyed? That's not it. Kang Junshul said, the original creator said that the divine weapon Ling Long and the Sky Splitter are mutually exclusive. If there's something in this world that can destroy it, then it's only Ling Long, divine weapon Ling Long? Kong Sang-yi frowned. I've heard of this before, but this is also a divine weapon from ancient legends. Now, no one knows where it is, and no one knows if it still exists. Since this sky splitter is so scary, then let's just leave it here. Han Miao Shuang said, I feel that there's still demonic energy on it, and the aura it emits is too terrifying. If we take her out, I don't know what kind of bloody storm will be set off on the road. I think, eldest senior brother won't agree. Sima Yuyue said while looking at Kong Junshul through the crystal coffin. Eldest senior brother? Su Xiao and Han Miao Shuang looked over, not knowing why Sima Yuyue said that. Kong Junshul looked at Sima Yuyue helplessly and said, everyone didn't see it, how did you see it? Didn't you come here for this? Sima Yuyue said, or, you've been aiming for this since a long time ago. Kong Junshul took out a pair of black silk gloves and said, little junior brother, it's not good to be too smart. I don't want to either. Sima Yuyue looked at him and said, eldest senior brother, are you really going to take the sky splitter out? Yes. Do you know the consequences of taking the sky splitter out? Of course I do. Wait, what are you talking about? Why don't I understand? Han Miao Shuang looked at Sima Yuyue and then looked at Kong Junshul and said, Kong Junshul, you want to take the demon sword out? Is that what you mean? Kong Junshul glanced at her and didn't answer, but his meaning was clear. Kong Junshul, are you crazy? Han Miao Shuang shouted. Eldest senior brother? Su Xiao looked at him in shock and couldn't believe his eyes. Little junior brother, you already knew? Han Miao Shuang looked at Sima Yuyue and asked. What's going on? It's actually very simple. Sima Yuyue said, eldest senior brother just wants to take the sky splitter out. No. Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiao rejected at the same time. This demon's sword is too dangerous. If it appears again, the consequences will be unimaginable. Eldest senior brother, you can't take it out. What if I must take it out? Will you stop me? Kong Junshul's aura changed. It was no longer the lazy and casual aura from before. Instead, it was emitting an evil aura. Chapter 8:12. Eldest brother? Su Xiao looked at Kong Junshul and asked, are you okay? Of course I'm fine. Please search, to see the most complete. Kong Junshul said, Xiao, we've been brothers for so many years. You won't stop me, right? Eldest senior brother, you can't take this demonic sword out. Su Xiao said. If you insist on taking it out, then we can only stop you. How are you going to stop me? You can't beat me. Kong Junshul shrugged disapprovingly. Kong Junshul, why did you bring this out? For the Jiang family? Han Miao Shuang was more clear about his identity and asked with a gloomy face. The Jiang family? Kong Junshul smiled and said, I have nothing to do with the Jiang family. What did you say? Kong Junshul, that idiot, how could he be smarter than me? Kong Junshul said, I just borrowed his identity. Who are you? Your Han family and my Jiang family have been friends for generations. You know Kong Junshul. Then, do you know that Kong Junshul has a twin brother, Jiang Junxian? You are that. Han Miao Shuang looked at Kong Junshul and said in disbelief, didn't you say you were dead? Kong Junshul, no. Jiang Junxian heard Han Miao Shuang's words and smiled. That smile was filled with disgust and deep pain. Die? No, I'm not dead, but someone wants me dead. That way, he can become the number one person in the younger generation of the Jiang family. Jiang Junxian shook his head and said, not only him, but the others also think so they will use my blood to exchange with him, who is poisoned, to let me give him the chance to survive. But they didn't expect me to survive. Ha ha ha. Jiang Junxian. Han Miao Shuang looked at him. At that time, there was a rumor in the Jiang clan that you were poisoned and there was no cure. You died not long after. So, how did you survive? You don't have to ask. Kang Junshul did not intend to answer this question because the process of surviving was too painful and the price he had to pay was too great. He did not want to think about it anymore. I'm guessing that the organization behind you saved you, Sima Yuyue said. Jiang Jun Xian looked at Sima Yuyue and said, little junior brother, you're really smart. If possible, I really don't want to be your enemy. Then don't make me your enemy. Sima Yuyue continued, in your words, you've been their senior for so many years. The days I spent with all of you were indeed the most relaxing and comfortable I've ever lived since I survived. Unfortunately, those were the days I borrowed. Or, I got it by borrowing the identity of the person I hate the most. When he spoke of his brother, his voice was a little hoarse, and there was an uncontrollable pain in it. Jiang Jun Xian, let me ask you this. Has it been you all these years? Han Miao Shuang asked. Su Xiao also stared straight at him. It seemed that he was also very nervous about this answer. Kang Junshul was caught when he left the Jiang family to participate in the alchemy competition. He didn't even participate in that competition at all. Jiang Jun Xian said, however, with his talent, I think Su Jin won't take a fancy to him. So you're saying that it's been you all along? Han Miao Shuang said, Master's disciple from the beginning was you, that's right. I hope that when he finds out about this, he won't be too sad. Jiang Jun Xian said, however, I don't know if he can live to hear this news. If he knows, I'm afraid that he will regret not discovering anything for so many years. He won't be sad. Sima Yuyue said confidently, and he won't regret it. Jiang Jun Xian looked at her and smiled. He did not believe her words. Do you think that with Master's intelligence, he really didn't find out? Sima Yuyue asked back. Little junior brother, you're saying that Master knows? Impossible. If he found out, he wouldn't keep quiet. Jiang Jun Xian did not believe it. Master knew long ago. Sima Yuyue said, he didn't say anything because the disciple he accepted from the beginning was you. The disciple he accepted was a person and not the identity of the Jiang family's young master. Even if you approached him with a motive, he didn't blame you. Jiang Jun Xian heard what she said and his body trembled slightly. Impossible, he never said anything. He still did not believe it. Do you know what Master told me before? What? No matter what identity we have, we are his disciples. We are people that he has acknowledged. If we didn't do anything to bring disaster to the world, we would always be his disciples. He said that a teacher for a day is a father for life. He will protect me and you all. He also said that eldest senior brother has suffered a lot. If you do anything in the future, as long as it's not something evil, we should tolerate you. Sima Yuyue said, that Jiang family's young master probably didn't suffer much, right? Tell me, if Master didn't know, would he say that? Jiang Jun Xian was a little dizzy from these words and subconsciously grabbed the crystal coffin. When did he say this to you? Not long after I came in. Sima Yuyue said, no matter what identity you have, he will treat you as his disciple. But if you bring the Sky Splitter Devil Sword out today, you will personally cut off your relationship as master and disciple. Eldest senior brother, do you really want to do this? Jiang Jun Xian lowered his head and looked at the Sky Splitter Devil Sword in the crystal coffin. His eyes flashed with a moment of struggle. One of my missions is to get the Sky Splitter Devil Sword. For it, I hid in the outer area and entered the sect. I finally got the specific information from the ancient books in the sect. However, this happened before I even started to act. It just so happened that it saved me a lot of trouble. You knew from the start that the Sky Splitter Devil Sword was in the outer area. Han Miao Shuang said with certainty, you were using Master and us from the start. It can't be considered as using. Jiang Jun Xian said, I just borrowed an identity to enter the inner sect. I didn't do anything to hurt you. Eldest senior brother, are you really going to bring the Sky Splitter Devil Sword out? Su Xiao asked with a solemn face. Xiao, you have already asked this question 3 times. Jiang Jun Xian said, no matter how many times you ask me, I won't change my mind. What if we risk our lives to stop you? Jiang Junxian stretched out his index finger and shook it, saying, I know your temperament, so I stopped this from happening from the start. Hearing his words, everyone's heart sank. They all had a bad premonition. He took out a white fat ball and crushed it. A faint fragrance wafted out. When everyone smelled this fragrance, they felt their chests tighten. They lost all strength and collapsed to the ground one after another. They wanted to mobilize their spirit energy but found that they couldn't. Sima Yue sensed it. This thing actually blocked her connection with the spirit pagoda. Chapter 8:13. 10 Fragrant Powder. Han Miao Shuang was paralyzed on the ground. Her expression changed when she thought of what Jiang Junxian took out. 10 fragrances powder? What's that? Kong Sengyi could guess what it was, but he still asked. It's an extremely potent tendon-softening powder. Even a monarch-level expert would feel powerless and unable to use spiritual power after consuming it. Not only that, it also has an effect on divine sense. It will cut off the connection with the spatial container. Han Miao Shuang explained, this is a poison that only a few forces in the inner regions have. Sima Yue finally understood why her connection with the spirit pagoda was cut off. I knew you would recognize it. Jiang Junxian said. When did you poison us? Han Miao Shuang asked. Wasn't it just now? No. That was just a primer. Han Miao Shuang said, the 10 fragrance powder needs to be planted by someone first, then activated with a primer. If you don't use a primer, it will dissipate after 10 days in the body. Therefore, if they didn't stop him, he didn't intend to fall out with them. It was when we were looking at the portrait in the house. Sima Yue said, didn't we smell a faint fragrance at that time? That should be the smell of the 10 fragrance powder. That's right. Jiang Junxian flicked his sleeves and ignored them. He lowered his head to look at the sky-splitter devil sword. I thought it was just a legend. I didn't expect it to actually exist. Wearing silk gloves, he stroked the crystal coffin, not in a hurry to get it. You've been sleeping for so long that only a part of your demonic nature is left. You need fresh blood to awaken. He looked at the person on the ground and came to Shimen Feng's side, wanting to capture him to sacrifice to the heavens. Don't touch him. Sima Yue shouted. Jiang Junxian turned his head to look at her. Her expression had never been so serious. Her eyes looked at him like this, telling him of her firmness. If he dared to touch Shimen Feng, she would definitely risk her life to kill him. You want to kill me? Jiang Junxian saw the murderous aura in her eyes. His eyes were filled with hostility. He couldn't help but tighten his grip on Shimen Feng's hand. You know how much effort I've put into saving him, and you know how important he is to me. Sima Yue said, if you dare to kill him, I'll make sure you die with him. If you don't kill him, I won't kill you either. After all, I still call you eldest senior brother. Jiang Junxian's emotions were calmed down by the words eldest senior brother. He looked at Shimen Feng for a while and then threw him to the ground. Shimen Feng was mobilizing the aura within his body. Although this aura had been refined by him at that time, he could still use it now. Although it was very strenuous, if he wanted to kill him, he would use that aura to resist. She didn't expect him to let her go so easily. Jiang Junxian glanced at Kong Sengyi. He wanted to grab her, but he stopped after taking 2 steps. He returned to the side of the crystal coffin, bent over to pick up the sky splitter, and carefully observed it in front of him. The sharp blade reflected a cold light in the dim light. It landed on his face, causing a chill to rise from the bottom of his heart. However, that chill couldn't extinguish the fanaticism in his eyes. He seemed to see himself standing at the top of the world, holding the sky splitter in his hand and being worshipped by thousands. He quickly put the sky splitter down, and the image disappeared. What a powerful devil sword. Although it's been so many years, just looking at it makes one's heart surge. He bent over to pick up the scabbard and put the sky splitter in. That evil aura was completely sealed. This devil sword has such a strong demonic nature. Jiang Jun Xian, you can't take it out. Han Miao Shuang said. Jiang Jun Xian took off the silk gloves. When he heard Han Miao Shuang's words, he placed the sword at her throat. If you say it again, I'll use you as a sacrifice. Even with the scabbard, Han Miao Shuang could still feel the chill. However, she wasn't afraid. You won't. If you want to kill us, you won't use the 10 fragrances powder. She looked at Jiang Jun Xian. Although you don't hide your aura anymore and your whole person has changed, you're still the person who lived with us for decades. You won't kill us. You are much smarter than you usually look. Jiang Jun Xian retracted his sword, which made everyone's worried hearts relax again. Jiang Jun Xian, I have a question to ask you. Sima Yu said. Ask while I'm in a good mood. Jiang Jun Xian touched the sky splitter. He liked it very much, but he didn't unsheath it easily. Is the chi spirit related to the power behind you? Sima Yu asked. No. Really? Of course. Jiang Jun Xian didn't bother to lie. I didn't know about this before I came to Violet Water Swamp. I didn't even think about it before I saw those chi spirits. So, at that time, you really just came with me? More or less. Jiang Jun Xian didn't admit or deny it. At that time, he had indeed come to protect her. However, only he knew the deeper reason behind his actions. Alright, now it's my turn to ask you a question. He kept the sky splitter and squatted beside Sima Yu. He asked, where's little Seven? Even if I know, I won't tell you. Sima Yu didn't expect him to mention little Seven at this time. Fortunately, little Seven was still in Spirit Pagoda and didn't come out. Why are you asking about little Seven? Han Miao Shuang didn't know what Jiang Jun Xian was thinking. Naturally, I want to bring her back. Jiang Jun Xian said. Bring her back? She's a student of the sect. Student? Jiang Jun Xian stood up. Is the Eye of Earth considered a student? Eye of Earth? Why, you don't know that little Seven is the Eye of Earth? Jiang Jun Xian raised his eyebrows. It seemed that the sect did a good job of keeping secrets. But looking at Yu, she should know the inside story. My other mission is to bring the Eye of Earth back. Jiang Jun Xian said. Little junior brother, hand little Seven over. Little Seven isn't here. Sima Yu denied flatly. If you want to find her, go to the sect. I think you know better than anyone whether little Seven is in the sect or not. Jiang Jun Xian stood up and said. Actually, with the sky splitter, I can already go back and submit the mission. I'm not interested in the Eye of Earth. It doesn't matter if she's there or not. Today, I'll let her go because we're from the same sect. But, I still have to report your information without any reservation. Sima Yu was surprised. She thought that he would definitely investigate little Seven's whereabouts. She didn't expect him to just mention it. He didn't really intend to snatch little Seven. But since he didn't intend to snatch little Seven, why did he mention her? I really didn't want to take your lives today. After all, we've lived together for a while. The 10 fragrance powder won't last for a few days. You'll be fine after a few days. Jiang Jun Xian finished speaking and stepped over her body, preparing to leave. Wait. Chapter 814. The following is provided for you, 814, please enjoy. Yu called out to him. Jiang Jun Xian turned around and looked at her. Leave Master's life, Jade. Sima Yu said, Master will definitely not agree to you bringing the Sky Splitter Devil Sword out today. I think you won't have the heart to care about Master's life and death, so leave Master's life, Jade. Jiang Jun Xian lowered his eyes, blocking the emotions in his eyes. With a thought, 2 life jade appeared in his hands. Because he was still alive, the life jade was still warm. He threw one of the life jade to Sima Yu. They couldn't move now, so they didn't know if it was Su Jin's life jade. I will report little Seven's situation when I go back this time. They will definitely send people to snatch it. Tell her to stay in the sect and not come out. You better not be with her. After Jiang Junxian finished speaking, he strode out of the ice room, leaving a group of people lying on the ground. Su Xiaoxiao and Han Miaoshuang didn't speak. They stared blankly at the ceiling, feeling depressed. Sima Yu was thinking about something and didn't speak either. Kong Sengyi and Shiman Feng thought about what they went through and were in a bad mood, so they didn't disturb them. After a while, Han Miaoshuang let out a long sigh and said, Xiao Xiao, junior brother, we were betrayed by that bastard Jiang Junxian. Sima Yu replied. Su Xiaoxiao still didn't move. Xiao Xiao, are you very sad? Han Miaoshuang said hatefully, that Jiang Junxian, don't let me see him. Otherwise, I will beat him up every time I see him. I will beat you up until your parents can't recognize you. It's the first time I've been attacked from behind. Am I not the same? Sima Yu was also depressed. She trusted Jiang Junxian so much and was touched by his concern for her. But she didn't expect him to do this behind her back. Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao. Han Miaoshuang saw that Su Xiaoxiao didn't respond and called out twice. Su Xiaoxiao answered softly, but her voice was filled with disappointment. Xiao Xiao, don't be sad. Let's just take it that we've fed all these years to the dogs. Let's just pretend that we've never lived with such a person all these years. Han Miaoshuang persuaded Su Xiaoxiao, but as she spoke, her tears fell first. Senior sister. Su Xiaoxiao's voice was a little hoarse, as if it didn't come from his throat. He was also in a daze, still unable to recover from the news he had heard today. Sima Yu sighed again and said, Don't be so sad, eldest senior brother actually remembers our friendship. If he remembered, he wouldn't have given us the 10 fragrances powder. To think that I've always treated him like family. Now that I think about it, it's really sad. The more Han Miaoshuang spoke, the sadder she became. Her tears couldn't stop. He remembered, that's why he chose to use the 10 fragrances powder. Sima Yu said. He used the 10 fragrances powder to take the demon sword out. Han Miaoshuang said, How could it be because he remembers our friendship? Because, he doesn't want to fight with us. Sima Yu said. He doesn't want to fight with us, so he poisoned us? Sima Yu rolled her eyes. She was usually quite smart, how could her brain be bent now? Senior sister, think about it. If he wants to take the demon sword out, and we're all fine, what will happen? She asked. Naturally, we'll have to stop him. Han Miaoshuang said without thinking. He's determined to take it out, and we'll have to stop him. What will happen? The answer was self-evident. Naturally, they would fight, and it would most likely be a life and death battle. Su Xiaoxiao and Han Miaoshuang didn't speak. Both of them had thought of this. And what's the effect of the 10 fragrances powder? Yu asked. It will make people weak and their consciousness will be damaged. But it can be recovered after a period of recuperation. So, tell me, why did he poison us? Sima Yu said, if you want to say that he poisoned us because he wanted to snatch it, then he better kill us after he succeeded. That way, the news of him obtaining the demon's sword won't leak out. But, he didn't. He didn't even hurt them. Han Miaoshuang and Su Xiaoxiao were silent. But Su Xiaoxiao's breathing wasn't as depressed, and Han Miaoshuang's tears weren't as heavy. Outside the passage, Jiang Junxian silently turned and left. A faint and lazy smile hung on his lips. She really understood him. This made him very happy. But there was one thing she didn't think of. He wanted to bring the Sky Splitter back for a very important reason. That was, he didn't want to bring Little Seven back. Unfortunately, they wouldn't know this reason. He came to the courtyard and looked at the life jade in his hand. He sighed and kept the life jade. Then, he took out a boundary-breaking talisman and forcefully tore an opening in the little realm. He flew out. The moment he left, Sima Yuyue seemed to have sensed it. Strange, why do I feel like I sensed it? She muttered in her heart. I say. Kong Sangyi broke their silence. How long will the effects last? Until the effects of the drug wear off, we can only lie here? Not long. We'll be fine after lying here for 8 to 10 days. Han Miao Shuang said. 8 to 10 days? Kong Sangyi cried out, it's so cold here. We can't use spirit energy to resist. If we lie here for 8 to 10 days, won't we be half dead? So we have to think of a way to save ourselves. Sima Yuyue said. We've lost contact with the interspatial ring. How can we find a way? Kong Sangyi said. Wait, it'll be fine. Sima Yuyue felt the effects of the medicine in her body spreading quickly. The divine devil body was expelling the poison for her. At this speed, she would be able to move in 2 days. 2 days later, Sima Yuyue finally connected with the spirit pagoda. She had some strength in her body. She took out a pill and forced herself to eat it. Then, she struggled to get up. But because her body was still weak, she bumped into the crystal coffin. She didn't know what crystal this crystal coffin was made of. It was very hard. Her head was injured and fresh blood dripped onto the coffin. Yuyue, are you okay? I'm fine. Sima Yuyue used her hand to touch the blood on her forehead and casually wiped it on the coffin. Then, she supported herself to everyone's side and fed them the pills one by one. I don't know if this thing is useful. But the principle of paralysis is similar. This thing shouldn't be bad. After doing all this, Sima Yuyue felt a little weak. She leaned against the crystal coffin and sat down. She was in a daze. Her consciousness felt like it was flying. Yuyue, how is it? Do you like it here? In a daze, an unfamiliar male voice sounded beside her ear. It was filled with endless love. Sima Yuyue tried her best to open her eyes. When did she come to an unfamiliar place? Was it an illusion again? I love my academy, actively cooperate with the special campaign to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you everyone. Chapter 815. The following is provided for you, 815. Please enjoy. She tried hard to recognize her surroundings, but her body was not under her control. Yuyue, why are you in a daze? That man hugged her from behind and rubbed his head against her neck. It was a very familiar and sentimental snuggling. He was clearly a stranger, and she didn't even know what he looked like. Why would she let him hug her and feel that he was familiar? Kanglin, where did you get this? Are you saying that you don't have to do so many things for me? The woman's voice was as intoxicating as an oriole's, but her words carried dissatisfaction and coldness. Sima Yuyue was shocked. She called him Kanglin. Could it be that the man behind her was Great Emperor Kanglin? Although she was in this body, she wasn't the one who said that. She was in someone else's body. Yuyue. Kanglin sighed and turned her body around. Yuyue finally saw his appearance when the two of them faced each other. What a refined and handsome man. She couldn't help but sigh in her heart. However, why are his eyes similar to Mo Shaw's? They also look similar. Yuyue, for you, I'm willing. Kanglin's eyes were filled with faint sorrow and determination. As long as you like it, I'm willing to do anything. Yuyue reached out to caress his face, her fingers sliding between his eyebrows. She sighed, you and I are of different races, so we can't be together. Why do you have to do this? As long as we love each other, so what if we're of different races? Kanglin held her hand. I know you also like me, right? Yuyue was silent, but Yuyue could feel her love, struggle, and hesitation. There was also a deep sorrow in her heart. She liked him, but she couldn't be with him. Was it because of her identity? Kanglin, you know that I was originally a black lotus at the foot of the 9th underworld mountain. I came to the human realm with a mission. After the mission is completed, I must return to the ghost realm. At that time, we will still have to part ways. Why endure the pain of eternal separation because of a moment of greed? I don't know what will happen in the future. I only know that as long as we love each other, every moment together will be forever. Yu, I love you. A black lotus at the foot of the 9th underworld mountain? Isn't the 9th phantom mountain the legendary divine mountain of the ghost realm? Could it be that it wasn't just a legend, but something that really existed? Mo Lien, she thought of the painting on the entrance of the little realm. There was a black lotus growing in the river. The woman that the Azure Great Emperor liked back then was actually a black lotus? Before she could digest this news, the scenery suddenly changed. The scene she was in kept changing, and it was almost all bits and pieces of the two of them. Yuyue was in Yuyu's body, watching them interact with each other. She was happy, sad, sweet, and disappointed with her. Looking at Song Lan's and Mo Shaw's similar eyes, she couldn't help but think of Mo Shaw sometimes. If it was Mo Shaw, would he do such a thing, would he say such a thing, Yuyu? Kanglan suddenly shouted, pulling Yuyue back from her thoughts. She looked up and saw the sky-splitter devil's sword coming closer and closer through her eyes. Poof! The sky-splitter pierced through Yuyu's body. She held the devil's sword in one hand and attacked her opponent with the other. She hit his chest and directly took his life. Yuyu! Kanglan flew over and hugged her body. Black blood flowed all over him. Yuyu, don't be afraid. I'll heal you right now. You'll be fine. He said comforting words, but his body was trembling non-stop. Yuyu grabbed his hand and wanted to stroke his face with her other hand, but she didn't have the strength to continue. Yuyu, Kanglan grabbed her hand and pressed it against his face. When she touched his face, a smile finally appeared on her face. Kanglan. Yuyu opened her mouth, and black blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. Yuyu, don't speak. Kanglan saw the blood flowing out of her mouth and stopped her loudly. Yuyu, don't speak, I beg you. A tear fell from the corner of Yuyu's eyes. Seeing him on the verge of collapse, she also felt terrible. But there were some things that she still had to say. Kanglan, don't be sad. You know that those who are killed by the sky splitter can't survive. She tried to smile at him, but this smile looked so bleak. Yuyu, I will find a way. I will definitely save you. Kanglan's tears also fell. Don't waste your energy. The sky splitter kills the body and soul. No one can survive. Yuyu spat out another mouthful of blood. Actually, it doesn't make a difference whether you save me or not. Even if I survive, I will return to the ghost realm. I will still have to part with you. Rather than being separated in life and missing each other forever, it's better to part in death and forget each other. No, I don't want to forget you. I won't forget you. We will always be together. Kanglan hugged her, wanting to warm her cold body. Kanglan, to be able to meet and fall in love with you is the greatest happiness in my life. I originally wanted to leave my soul to accompany you. Yuyu lowered her head and looked at the sky splitter that was still in her abdomen. Unfortunately, the sky splitter doesn't allow it. The souls of those who are killed by it will dissipate. I'm sorry, I can't accompany you. I won't let your body and soul dissipate. Kanglan wanted to pick her up and bring her for treatment, but she held him down. She shook her head weakly. Kanglan, don't waste your energy. It's useless. Why don't you use this time to accompany me? I don't want to leave in a miserable state. Stay with me, okay? Yuyu, Sima Yuyue saw Kanglan's tears and snot flowing down. That look was really ugly. Rather than returning to that dark place, I prefer this. Leaving in your arms, with you sending me off. Yuyu smiled faintly. Yuyu, I will always be with you. I know. I believe in you. Yuyu retracted her hand and placed it on the sky splitter. I also want to be with you, but in the end, I can't. I want to do something before I die. Yu, what else do you want to do? I'll help you. You can't help me. Yu looked at him reluctantly. I know, you really want to destroy this demon sword. You have enough strength now, but you don't want it to continue harming the world. I'll help you seal it. When you break through to the Emperor rank, you will definitely be able to destroy it. I can seal it for tens of thousands of years. I believe that at that time, you will definitely become an Emperor rank. Yu, what are you going to do? Kanglin grabbed her hand in a panic, not letting her do anything. Yu pulled out her hand and held the sky splitter. She glanced at him one last time, wanting to engrave his appearance deeply in her mind. After I leave, you have to live well. Ugh, she spat out another mouthful of blood and felt her life rapidly slipping away. She had no choice but to push Kanglin away and stand up. After pulling out the sky splitter, she stabbed it into her own heart. With my body, the god of sealing, the god of the 9 underworlds, lend me your divine might. Seal, I love my academy, actively cooperate with the special action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you everyone. Chapter 8:16. As her words fell, Yuyu's body emitted a black light. She spread out her arms and slowly rose into the air, stopping when she was 30 feet above the ground. The black whirlwind spun around her. She closed her eyes tightly, her black hair danced in the wind, and her long dress fluttered in the wind. Yu. Kanglin wanted to rush up but was blocked by a force that prevented him from approaching. Sima Yuyue felt as though she was being torn apart by a force along with Yuyu. Her entire body was in unbearable pain. But even if it was so painful, Yuyu did not cry out. Yuyu, outside, Kanglin was already distressed and blaming himself. His face was covered in tears and snot. Yuyue would have laughed if it wasn't the wrong time. She could feel the energy in her body flowing away quickly, all of it pouring into the sky splitter devil sword. In the end, her body turned into specks of black light and merged into the sky splitter. Yuyue's consciousness also blurred. The last sentence she heard before she fell into darkness was Kanglin's roar. Yuyu, I won't let your soul scatter. When Sima Yuyue woke up, her face was covered in tears. She did not know why she was crying. The people and things inside were clearly not her, but she still felt sad, and her tears flowed uncontrollably. Only now did she understand that it wasn't that imperial emperors couldn't destroy the sky splitter devil sword, but that after Zhang became an imperial emperor, he wasn't willing to destroy the sky splitter anymore. That was because her flesh and blood had fused into the sky splitter. That was the place where she had placed her body. He could not destroy the only thought she had left behind. That was why he imprisoned the sky splitter here. It was indestructible and indestructible. He left a trace of his soul to accompany it, just like he was accompanying her. Yu, that faintly discernible call once again rang in her ears, causing her to feel a heart-wrenching pain. She hugged her knees with both hands and buried her head in her knees, crying incessantly. Yu, sigh, Sima Yuyue felt as though there was someone beside her. He caressed her black hair gently. She raised her head and looked at the person who looked similar to the one in the picture. Kanglin. She couldn't help but call out. Yu, you're back. I've finally waited for you. Kanglin held her face and said with a smile. Although his appearance was much older than before, his eyes were still as affectionate as before, and did not change with the passage of time. Kanglin. Yuyue called out again. Her tone was the same as Yuyu's. She felt that this was not her voice. I thought I had failed and I wouldn't be able to wait for you anymore. Kanglin pulled her up and hugged her, resting his head on her head. Sima Yuyue felt her brain heating up. She wrapped her arms around his waist and snuggled into his arms sweetly. Suddenly, she felt a chill in her heart. Mo Shah's aura rushed into her brain, causing her muddled mind to clear up. She let go of him and stepped back, leaving his arms. Yu, what happened to you? Zhang Lan lowered his head and looked at her with hurt in his eyes. Sima Yuyue looked at him and said, I'm sorry, I'm not your Yuyue. I'm called Yuyue, Sima Yuyue. I know what your name is, but you are my Yuyue, the Yuyue I've waited for so many years. Kanglan said. I think you're mistaken. Sima Yuyue shook her head. I'm a human, not Mo Lien from the 9 Underworlds mountain. You are. Kanglan caressed her face and slowly stroked her brows, just like how Yuyu caressed her back then. You are Yuyu. I know you've returned. But Shu, Kanglan placed a finger on her lips. I read your memories. I know everything you want to say. You know? Kanglan nodded. I woke up from the moment you entered here. So I know everything about you. I also know him. His hand moved down from her face to her wrist and caressed the devil's snare bracelet. Sima Yuyue was alarmed. It was Mo Sha who helped her recover just now, but he actually knew. He was a human sovereign, while Mo Sha was the devil king of the devil world. Could he? Don't worry, I won't harm him. Kanglan said, I won't harm myself. Yourself? Sima Yuyue was a bit puzzled, but then she stared at him with wide eyes. You're saying, Kanglan smiled faintly, scaring her. Yuyu, I'm already very happy to be able to wait for you before I disappear. But when I think of leaving you again, I feel very sad. What should I do? Sima Yuyue saw his sorrowful eyes and couldn't bring herself to say that she wasn't Yuyu. After a moment of silence, she asked the question in her heart, how did your soul survive until now after so many years? Sealed. Kanglan said, when I discovered that you had completely disappeared, I sealed myself and waited for you to return. Because I sealed myself, even though millions of years have passed, I am still here. Then you said you were going to disappear. This seal can help me avoid time, but it will vanish like smoke after the seal is removed. And the way to remove the seal is to use your blood to open the door to the small realm. Sima Yuyue didn't know what to say. In order to wait for his beloved, he actually chose this kind of method. Sealing himself for millions of years, waiting for millions of years, just so that he could see her again. Although the person he was waiting for wasn't her, she was still moved by his deep affection. Yuyu, you are her, but also not her. Although your constitution is very special, it hasn't been fully developed yet, so your current situation is a bit dangerous. Kanglan said, unfortunately, there isn't enough time. He placed his hand on her shoulder. Her clothes turned to ashes bit by bit, leaving only a small duda to cover her. Sima Yuyue didn't expect that he would suddenly destroy her clothes. Before she could say anything, she felt a presence enter her body, following which her back suddenly burned. That feeling was exactly the same as when she saw Mo Lien. Kanglan walked behind her. Only 2 thin ribbons encircled her flawless back, making it even more alluring. He stared straight at her beautiful back, watching as a black lotus slowly emerged on her back. Its long stem extended all the way below her waist, its 9 petals delicate and charming. That appearance was exactly the same as Mo Lien on the small realm's door. As Kanglan watched Mo Lien emerge bit by bit, the grief in his eyes intensified. He reached out to caress each petal, as if caressing his beloved. You have the Yuyu clan's bloodline in your body. Sima Yuyue didn't know how long the burning on her back lasted. She only felt that the bone-chilling pain was about to annihilate her. Just as she was about to collapse, an icy chill brushed away the burning pain. And his words made her suspicious. She had Mo Lien's bloodline in her body? Only those who possess her bloodline can bear her soul, Kanglan continued. Chapter 8:17. When Sima Yuyue heard this, she felt that he had made a mistake again. She explained, actually, I am not the soul of this body. I know. You know? Sima Yuyue turned around in surprise. Then why did you say that I am? Sometimes, the body and soul aren't the most perfect combination. In the cycle of heavenly Tao, there are all kinds of karma. The current you is the complete you. Azure Sea said. The complete me? Sima Yue was stunned. So you're saying that I didn't enter this body by chance, but by fate? Maybe, maybe not. Kanglan said, looking at it now, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that the black lotus in your body must only appear when your soul and physical body combine. Her soul was inextricably linked to that black lotus from millions of years ago, and this body had the blood of the black lotus's descendants flowing through it. It was only because of the combination of the two that this pattern appeared on her back. She took out a robe and put it on to prevent her body from being exposed further. What is the use of this pattern? Kanglan shook his head. I don't know either. I only know that this is good for suppressing your physique. Perhaps only Yu would know what it is used for. Oh. This little realm is already yours. I think you know how to refine and control it. Azure Sea asked. Sima Yue nodded. Tsang Lan caressed her cheeks again. Yu, I'm leaving. Although I'm no longer here, I'll continue to protect you in the future. Sima Yue looked at him and saw the reluctance in his eyes. She suddenly felt a sharp pain in her heart. Her tears fell and wet his palm. To be able to see you cry for me before I disappear, I'm already satisfied. Kanglan wiped away her tears. The soul of the person in the bracelet is too weak. I'm also about to dissipate. Why don't I give my strength to him and let him protect you for me? Kanglan, Yu, meeting you in this life, I have no regrets. As Kanglan spoke, his soul turned into specks of starlight that danced around her before flying into the devil's snare bracelet. Mo Sha saw Tsang Lan's soul enter and relaxed his body, allowing all of his soul particles to enter his body. Then, he began to digest the power he brought. At this time, Sima Yu was still in a vast expanse of white and had yet to leave. She first changed her clothes before carefully sizing up the place. This was the place she was at after coming out of the illusion. It should be an unopened area of the little world. Kanglan didn't tell her how to leave. She didn't know how long she had left that cellar. If Shimin Feng and others saw that she hadn't returned for a long time, she didn't know whether they would be worried about her. Could it be that I have to refine this little realm? With a thought, a small and exquisite door appeared in her hand. The painting was still on the door. This is the key to opening this small realm. She sighed emotionally as she looked at Mo Lien on the door. If you had been cultivating at the foot of the 9th underworld mountain, would the things that happened later not have happened? He said he wouldn't regret it. You should be the same, right? Mo Lien on the door didn't reply. She sighed and said, Little door, I'm your master now. Take me away from this place and return to where I came from. The scene in front of her changed and she really returned to the cellar. But other than the crystal coffin, there was no one else. She walked to the coffin. Without the sky splitter devil sword, it was empty inside. Yu used her body to seal the sky splitter devil sword, so she didn't have a corpse at all. This crystal coffin buried the sky splitter devil sword in her. She didn't see Shimin Feng and the others. She sensed and immediately knew where they were. She walked out of the ice room and Shimin Feng happened to be in the courtyard. Seeing her come out, he immediately ran over. Where did you go? We were worried to death. I'm fine. Sima Yue said. Kong Sengyi and Han Miao Shuang heard the commotion and flew back. Little junior brother, are you all right? Han Miao Shuang walked over and pulled Sima Yue over to look at her. She only relaxed after making sure she was fine. Senior sister, I'm fine. Fine? You changed your clothes. How can you be fine? Han Miao Shuang said. Where did you go? Why did you suddenly disappear from the ice room? That's right. Everyone was shocked when they saw you suddenly disappear. We couldn't move at that time. We were worried to death. Kong Sengyi said. Little junior brother, where did you go? Su Xiao asked. I think I've been brought to an illusory realm. Sima Yue told them what she saw. But she only said what she saw in Yu's body. She didn't say anything about encountering the azure waves. Kong Sangyi heard and his eyes lit up. He hugged his chest and exclaimed, "Heavens, you witnessed an ancient love story with your own eyes. It's so magical. Then did you see the Azure Waves Emperor?" "I saw him," Sima Yue said. "He was also in the illusion." "Naturally, he saw it. What kind of person is he?" "You've actually met the Imperial Emperor. Don't they look the same as us?" "What's the Emperor's aura like?" Han Miao Shuang pulled her hand excitedly. "The one I saw wasn't the Emperor. Naturally, he didn't have the majesty of the Emperor," Sima Yue said. "But there's one thing I can say for sure. The people at that time looked the same as the people now. They both have a pair of eyes, a nose and a mouth." "Sigh, why can you see them but we can't?" Han Miao Shuang sighed. "If only we could see it too. If we could touch the Emperor's aura, we might become an emperor." Sima Yue couldn't be bothered with this love-struck person. She said to Shimin Feng and the others, "How long have I disappeared?" "More than 10 days. Shimin Feng said. More than 10 days, including the time they spent in the tomb. They had been here for almost a month. I didn't expect us to be here for so long." She sighed. "Even if we go out now, we don't know where eldest senior brother went. Maybe he already took the sky splitter and left the outer region." "He must have left the outer region," Han Miao Shuang said. "He should have returned to the inner region and handed the sky splitter over. The sky splitter is born. There will definitely be a bloody storm in the world." Su Xiao still couldn't let go of Jiang Junxian's actions. "Since we've already taken it out, there's no use regretting it now. The most important thing now is to go back to the sect and tell them about the sky splitter," Sima Yue said. We should go out," Han Miao Shuang said. "But, did you bring the boundary-breaking talisman?" Everyone shook their heads. "Without the boundary-breaking talisman, how can we get out of this little realm?" "Let me do it." Sima Yue took out a small door and immediately attracted the attention of Kong Sangyi and Han Miao Shuang. Chapter 8:18. This is the door to the little realm. It's the one we saw before, Sima Yue explained. "Why is that door in your hands?" "Maybe my blood flowed onto the door," Sima Yue said. Kanglin only said that this little realm belonged to her and didn't say why. In addition, she seemed to have felt something when Jiang Junxian left. She guessed that the little realm might have been taken away when she came in. Is this even possible? If I knew earlier, would have dripped my blood on it," Han Miao Shuang said regretfully. Sima Yue smiled and said nothing. But she thought that even if Han Miao Shuang did that, it might not work. Because according to Kanglin, her body and soul were related to this. "Yue, since this little realm is already yours, can you open other places?" Kong Sangyi asked. The area they could see now was too small, just around the mountain. But even at such a young age, they had obtained a lot of good things. Therefore, they thought that if they could open other places, there would definitely be a lot of treasures. "No." Sima Yue shook her head and said, "I can control her now because the Azure Great Emperor refined the door to the little realm, and I just happened to form a contract with the door. But I haven't refined the little world yet, so it can't appear in other places." "So it's like this." Han Miao Shuang's eyes rolled twice, then she grabbed Yu's hand and said, "Little junior brother, once you've refined it, if there are any good herbs inside, you have to share them with us." "No problem. But let's go out first." She held the small door, and with a thought, they appeared in the stone chamber of the central tomb. Yue looked at the place where the door used to be. The door had already disappeared, leaving behind only one wall, which was no different from the other walls. When she thought about what happened in the little realm, she sighed and said, "Let's go back." Han Miao Shuang and the others also thought of Jiang Junxian. They were a little depressed and said, "Let's go." They left the Violet Water Swamp and returned to Jiaoling City. Jingwen and Kong Valley's people were still waiting for them in the inn. You're finally back. If you didn't come back, we would have gone to look for you. Why are you missing one person? Jing Huan didn't see Jiang Junxian and asked casually. Eldest senior brother had something to do, so he left first. Sima Yuus saw that Han Miao Shuang and the others didn't look too good, so she casually said. Could it be because of the incident outside the city? What event? 10 days ago, a small town outside of Jiaoling City was massacred. Jing Wen said. Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiao Zhao's bodies shook and stiffened. A bloodbath? Sima Yue frowned. Yes. Not a single one is left. Jing Wen said, at first, everyone thought that the incident at Bright Red Mountain Peak had happened again, so they hurriedly informed the higher-ups. However, after someone came to take a look and said that it wasn't the work of the Ghost Clan, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. What are the characteristics of the corpse? Han Miao Shuang asked. They were all killed by a sword, but the strange thing was that there wasn't a single drop of blood in the entire town. Jing Wen said, many powerful people stayed behind to investigate the cause, but they didn't find anything. Of course there wouldn't be any blood, the blood was all drunk by the Sky Splitter. Yu thought to herself. Did something like this happen after that? Su Xiao asked. No, only that. Why, didn't your eldest senior brother go to investigate this matter? Eldest senior brother left for some personal matters. Sima Yue said, since something like this happened, we should go back to the sect and let them know. That's right. Let's hurry back. Han Miao Shuang took out a one-time use array and placed it on the ground. The three of them stood in it. Kong Sengyi knew that this was a serious matter, so he didn't ask them to stay. He only said gratefully, Yu, thank you for this matter. You've helped us so many times, Kong Valley will remember this. If there's a chance in the future, we'll definitely repay you. Alright, if there's anything in the future, I'll definitely look for you guys for help. Goodbye. Sima Yue glanced at Shimen Feng, activated the array and left. Kong Sengyi waited for them to leave before he said to Jingwen, are you guys done with your matters? It's done. Thank you for lending so many people to us. Jingwen said with a smile. Then I'll bring them back first. Kong Sengyi stood up and walked 2 steps before he turned back and said, oh right, you did these things behind the Jing clan's back. You have to be careful in the future. I know. Jing Wen nodded. When they were outside, Shimen Feng pulled Kong Sengyi's hand. I'll send you back to the valley before coming back. I know you're worried about her. Actually, you don't have to send us back. Kong Sengyi said. The situation in the central regions has been too turbulent recently. It's better to send you back. Shimen Feng patted her head, let's go. I'll go back after sending you back. All right. Sima Yue and the other 2 immediately used the temporary teleportation array to return to the sect. They didn't have time to return to Parting Garden, so they went straight to Mao Sanquan's office. Mao Sanquan was having a headache because of the 2 pieces of news. When he heard that Sima Yue and the others were back, he let them in and said to the people in the room, they're back. You can tell them. That person replied faintly with a slightly arrogant attitude. Sima Yue, Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiao came in and bowed to Mao Sanquan. They looked up and saw a few people sitting at the side. Kang Junchul? Han Miao Shuang called out in surprise. Kang Junchul, who was dressed in white, frowned when he heard Han Miao Shuang call out his name. He looked at Han Miao Shuang with disgust and shouted, who are you? How dare you call out my name directly? Sima Yue didn't like that man with a vicious aura. Now that he was scolding Han Miao Shuang, she was even angrier and said, what's wrong with calling your name? Don't tell me your name isn't meant to be called, but to be eaten by you? How dare you? Kang Junchul was mocked by Sima Yue and was enraged. He immediately released a flame. The orange flame was hot and violent. If it landed on a person, they would be burnt to ashes in a few seconds. Sima Yue squinted her eyes. It was another deviant flame. Kang Junchul, how dare you? Puchi, Han Miao Shuang shouted and released her deviant flame towards Kang Junchul's flame, blocking it in the middle. At the same time, Su Xiao Xiao released his green flame. The two flames directly suppressed Kang Junchul's flame until it couldn't move. Humph, do you think you're the only ones with two flames? Kang Junchul snorted and released another blue flame. This flame was ranked higher. Su Xiao Xiao and Han Miao Shuang's flames couldn't block it. The blue flame went past them and flew towards Sima Yue. It was about to land on her. Sima Yue raised her right hand and the blue flame stopped a few centimeters away from her. On her hand, a wisp of crimson flame twined around her fingertips. Chapter 8:19. Although you have the same appearance as eldest senior brother, you are still far from him. Sima Yue looked at Kang Junchul and said. She reached out her hand and the blue flame was extinguished. The other three flames were also extinguished. Who are you? What kind of flame is that? Jiang Junzhou looked at Sima Yue. He couldn't believe that his flame was extinguished just like that. His blue enchantress was ranked in the top 30, but it couldn't even withstand a trace of her flames. Sima Yue kept little birdie and said, Who are you? Why should I tell you what my flame is? It was the same tone, a blatant slap to the face. Kang Junchul's face turned red, and the anger in his heart grew. He wanted to get up and make trouble for her, but he was stopped by a middle-aged man beside him. Young master, don't forget why we're here, Jiang Qing reminded. Humph. Kang Junchul snorted coldly and did not continue to pester him. Mao Senquan waited for them to quiet down before saying, You're back. Principal Fan has already told us about the Violet Water Swamp. This time, it was all thanks to you guys that we were able to avoid even greater losses. Since we're going, we naturally have to put in some effort. Han Miao Shuang said, I just don't know if the sect has found out which forces those people belong to. We have already passed down the order. We will definitely do our best to investigate. Mao Senquan said. Since the academy had said that they would investigate, there was no need for them to worry about these things. Kang Junchul wasn't interested in their school's matters. He directly interrupted their conversation and said, Where's that scum, Jiang Junxian? Director Mao, this is. Sima Yue did not even bother to look at him. She did not even have the desire to talk to a person who felt good about himself and liked to compete with others. It's like this. Mao Senquan said, This is the Jiang clan's young master, Kang Junchul. Your eldest senior brother is using his name. Now they found him, saying that Jiang Junxian captured him and imprisoned him for many years. He was only recently rescued by the Jiang clan. Now he was looking for Jiang Junxian. Your master isn't here, so it's hard to say. Where is your eldest senior brother? Jiang Junxian left. Han Miao Shuang said. Gone. Kang Junchul jumped up. Didn't you go out together? Why did he leave? Don't tell me you're hiding him. Kang Junchul, are you stupid? Why would we hide him for no reason? Han Miao Shuang scolded back, if his identity wasn't exposed, would we not be surprised to see you? Besides, we went to the Violet Water Swamp and didn't contact the academy. Who knew that you would come? Do you think we can predict the future? Do you think we are that old geezer divinator? You're the idiot. Han Miao Shuang, don't think that just because you're from the Han family, I won't dare to do anything to you. Your Han family no longer wants you. If it wasn't for Su Jin taking you in, you would be a stray dog sleeping on the streets. Boom. Su Xiao hit Kang Junchul with her spiritual power. Jiang Cheng, who was beside him, reacted quickly and blocked it with his spiritual power. The two spiritual powers collided in the air. Arrogant brat. A spiritual power hit them. The pressure of a monarch-ranked expert made them obediently stand there and watch the spiritual power hit them. Stop. Everything happened in a flash. Jiang Cheng and Sima Yue were too close to each other. Mao Senquan didn't have time to stop them. He could only watch as the flame engulfed the three of them. After the flame passed, the three of them stood there unharmed. How can they be fine? Jiang Junxian looked at them in surprise. Spatial lock. Jiang Cheng stood up in surprise and looked at Sima Yue in disbelief. Mao Senquan also looked at the three of them. He was surprised and surprised. Spatial lock, you actually know how to spatial lock. Sima Yue removed the spatial lock and looked at Jiang Cheng mockingly. When the spiritual power hit them, she sealed the space and let the power go around it. So the three of them didn't get hurt. Using such power on 3 students, the Jiang family is so magnanimous. Sima Yue said with a cold smile. Uncle Cheng only attacked you because you attacked first and tried to sneak an attack on me. Kang Junchul came back to his senses. If you didn't insult my senior, would my senior attack you? Even if he did, it would be between the same generation. Why would he need to do it? Sima Yue said. You attacked first, and you still think you're in the right? You're bullying the weak, and you think you're in the right? Who's bullying the weak? Is there a need to say who? If you dare to slander my Jiang family again, I will. What are you going to do? Kill us? At this moment, Mao Senquan also came back to his senses. Seeing that both sides were at daggers drawn, he said, Yue, nephew Jiang, calm down. This is the academy, don't treat this as a market. You wouldn't meet such uncultured idiots in a market. Sima Yue snorted. Alright, Yue, you should stop talking. Mao Senquan said, say, Kang Junchul, no, Jiang Junxian left. What's going on? Speaking of Jiang Junxian, the 3 people's mood fell again. What's wrong? Mao Senquan saw that their mood was not right and asked. Instructor Mao, we have something to tell you. Sima Yue said as she looked at Kang Junchul and the others. Her gaze was very obvious. It was not suitable for unrelated people to be here, so they should scram. That brat still wants to avoid us? Kang Junchul said unhappily. We're talking to the academy, why are you listening? You have nothing to do with the academy. Since it's a secret of the academy, then please leave. Mao Senquan said. Instructor Mao, you can't say that. This Jiang Junxian has a grudge with our Jiang family. Your academy cannot protect him. Kang Junchul said. Kang Junchul, this is the heavenly sect, not your Jiang family. Mao Senquan said with a cold face. Instructor Mao, what's with your attitude? Kang Junchul said angrily, how can you, Jiang Qing pulled Kang Junchul and said to Mao Senquan, since it's a matter of the academy, we won't disturb you. We'll come back tomorrow. I think by then, you'll have already agreed. Let's go. Uncle Cheng, let's go. Although Kang Junchul was the Jiang family's young master, he did not dare to go against Jiang Cheng's wishes and could only follow him. After the 2 of them left, Mao Senquan said, what happened? Your eldest senior, that Jiang Junxian, what's going on? Instructor Mao, have you heard of the Sky Splitter Sword? Sima Yue asked. Sky Splitter Devil Sword? Sima Yue nodded and said, the Sky Splitter Devil Sword was born. It was brought out by eldest senior. Chapter 820. Mao Senquan was shocked. What did you say? The Sky Splitter Devil Sword has appeared? Sima Yue shook her head and told him what had happened in the royal tomb. I see. No wonder you guys are so upset. Being betrayed by a fellow disciple that you have lived with for so many years is indeed a very sad thing. Mao Senquan said with a face full of sympathy. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Why did she feel that Director Mao had missed the point? Shouldn't he care about the birth of the Sky Splitter Devil Sword? Why was he talking about the reason why they were so upset? Could it be that the way she described it was wrong? Since it has already happened, don't be too sad. After all, he still remembered the friendship between fellow disciples, so he didn't kill you. Mao Sanquan said. The three of them were stunned. Did they hear wrongly? Was he speaking up for Jiang Junxian? Director Mao, aren't you worried about the birth of the Devil Sword? Sima Yuyue asked curiously. I'm worried, but it's useless to worry now. Mao Sanquan said, according to what you said, that demon's sword doesn't have much demonic nature left. Even if it was born, it wouldn't be a big deal. But it will regain its magic sooner or later. Sima Yuyue said. I know. Mao Sanquan said with a serious face, that's why I said that it's useless for us to worry now. Since there's no point in worrying, why don't we talk about the two of you? Sure enough, people in high positions thought differently from them. Then what about senior brother? Han Miao Shuang asked. He'll definitely be expelled from the academy. Mao Sanquan said, it won't be long before the news of the appearance of the demon's sword spreads throughout the entire continent. After all, this happened because of the academy, so we need to give everyone an explanation. We also guessed that this would be the outcome. Han Miao Shuang said. Although she knew that, she still had mixed feelings when she heard him say that. However, expelling us from the academy is the academy's business. Your master's actions are always unpredictable. Whether or not he will expel him from the academy is unknown. Mao Sanquan continued, however, no matter what choice Su Jin makes, the academy will not tolerate him. In the future, he is not allowed to take even half a step into the academy. It doesn't matter to him whether he has it or not. Anyway, with his current identity, he won't be coming back. Sima Yuyue said. Director Mao, what about the Jiang family? Kang Junshul has been imprisoned for so many years and has only just been rescued. Naturally, he would want to seek revenge. Mao Sanquan said, anyway, Jiang Junxian isn't in our school right now, so we don't have to do anything. They can't do anything either. If you want her, go find that mysterious power. Instructor Mao, why do I see the shadow of my master on you? Han Miao Shuang said speechlessly. Sima Yuyue also wanted to ask. Why didn't she notice Mao Sanquan's shameless nature in the past? At that time, she thought that he was quite old-fashioned. Is there? I think I'm better than your master, right? Mao Sanquan touched his chin and said narcissistically. The three of them were speechless. Narcissism was quite similar too. All right, I understand everything now. You must be tired after going through all this. Go back to the parting garden and rest. Leave the rest to us. Mao Sanquan waved his hand at them and said. Sima Yuyue and the rest bowed to Mao Sanquan and left. Mao Sanquan waited for them to leave and let out a long sigh. It's better to discuss with old Fan and the rest. Yu and the rest returned to the parting garden. Seeing the familiar environment, everyone's heart sank. There were many places where Jiang Junxian used to live. Now that they were back and saw these, it made them even sadder. Little junior brother, I miss Master. Han Miao Shuang said, where's Master's life jade? Sima Yuyue then remembered that she kept the life jade in the ice room. She quickly took it out, but everyone was stunned when they saw the name on it. This is Teacher Ji's life jade? Han Miao Shuang exclaimed softly. Sima Yuyue looked at the two words Gulang and scolded, Jiang Junxian, that guy, gave us Teacher Ji's life jade and kept Master's. He already did such a thing, why did he keep Master's life jade? Maybe he wants to know about Master's safety. Sima Yuyue guessed. But we won't know if that's the case. Han Miao Shuang said angrily. We still have a way. Sima Yuyue said. What way? Sima Yuyue kept Gulang's life jade and said, Teacher Gu went in with Master. As long as Teacher Ji's life jade is still there, Master should be fine. Then you have to take good care of Teacher Ji's life jade. Don't let it break or anything. Tell us immediately if there's any news. Han Miao Shuang urged. I know. Sima Yuyue said, Sigh, if Master knows about this, I don't know how he'll react. He'll probably be hurt, right? Not necessarily. Han Miao Shuang said, although that guy approached Master with a motive and betrayed us, at least in the years we've been together, he didn't do anything to hurt us. She couldn't help but sigh when she thought about how he brought the Sky Splitter Devil Sword out. Sigh, Sky Splitter Devil Sword. I don't know where it is now. At the same time, on a mountain peak, in the Black Dragon Sex Grand Hall, a man in blood-red clothes sat in the middle. The man wore a mask and his appearance couldn't be seen clearly. But just from the aura he released, it was enough to make the people below submit from the bottom of their hearts. The two sides of the hall were filled with people. Everyone was called by the palace master to participate in this meeting. Jiang Jun Xian held the Sky Splitter Devil Sword and stood in the middle of the hall. He didn't panic because there were so many people, nor was he shocked by the palace master's aura. Jiang Jun Xian, when I saved you that day, you said that you could bring me enough value to your life. Now, are you here to prove your worth? The palace master sat on the throne. He seemed to be speaking casually, but it made people feel infinite pressure. That's right. Jiang Jun Xian nodded and said. I remember that I sent you to the heavenly sect to snatch the Eye of Earth. Now that you're back, have you already snatched the Eye of Earth back? The palace master asked. No. Jiang Jun Xian said. No? The palace master was very unhappy and lowered his aura. Then why did you come back? Because I brought back something more precious and powerful. Something that the palace master wants more. The value of this thing is definitely above the Eye of Earth. Jiang Jun Xian looked straight at the palace master. Oh. What did you bring back? The value is actually higher than the Eye of Earth. I think that the palace master will feel more when he sees it with his own eyes. After speaking, he pulled the Sky Splitter Devil Sword out of the scabbard and let the palace master see the two words Sky Splitter Devil Sword on the blade. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.